course. Movie night. Gaming.
Why is that not?
Oh, look, we're streaming. Neat. Look at the stream. There's a stream. Oh.
Call him PK Sullivan out when we get on the air. If you're in there, PK, I'm calling you out.
Hey, look, it's folks. Folks are already there. Listening to Happy Jacks, waiting for the show to start. That's funny. I love those guys, those Happy Jacks guys.
Misdirected mark. Share folder.
We're listed under talk shows.
We are.
Mechanisms.
We're a talk show.
Uh-huh.
That's what they'll call us.
They call us Bracelet Brothers.
Bracelet
Thank
brothers.
you, Bob. Thank you. Glad you got my reference.
Instead, I'm stuck with this reject from the Liberace House of Crap.
You two.
Oh,
you
man.
guys.
You guys. It's 8:46. Shouldn't we be doing the thing?
We're
gotta
getting
do
there.
Are we recording?
Yeah.
Are the numbers
streaming.
running?
There are numbers running.
Okay.
The thing is lit up. There's no blinking.
Here we go. We have a pre-ad. We have a pre-roll ad to do.
Pre-roll ad.
So here we go. I have to wait for Phil to open up the pre-roll ad since he's got lines.
We all have lines.
Hang on. I'm
We
calling
all,
out PK
we all in
Sullivan.
fact, have lines.
Okay. All right.
It's almost like we're ready for the show.
Professionals.
Professionals. You ready?
Fucking strike force.
Here we go. 5, 4. You know what I love, Phil?
What's that?
Disney.
What? You can't say that. It's copyright infringement.
Fine. I'll go with Chris Gray's version then. You know what I like, Phil?
Didn't we just do this?
Yes, and we're doing it again.
All right. Fine. What?
Mouse Park.
Acceptable.
I really like how the great mouse god wants to rise up and devour the souls of everyone.
Are we still talking about the happiest place on earth?
Still acceptable.
Sure, I know some people who work there and do everything they can to keep the great mouse god appeased.
Are you talking about the happiest apocalypse on earth? That satirical game where you play Mouse Park employees who are trying to keep the mouse god from rising up?
Yeah, that's it. I'm talking about a game. Totally a game, not real life.
And is this just an ad for that game?
Sure, of course it is. It's just an ad. I'm not talking about real animatronics that come to life, or ghouls that eat employees and cotton candy in equal amounts, or even cultists who show up and try to release the great mouse god from its contented slumber.
You make it sound like it's a Lovecraftian elder thing.
I mean, come on now, Phil. That would just be kind of crazy.
Doesn't the game have a bunch of Monster of the Week style play to it? A little like X-Files?
Or supernatural, and it can be funny, horrifying, or both.
So, little Buffy meets Disney World?
I'll allow it.
That's about right. And if you do end up at the happiest place on Earth, I recommend you don't jump off the Pirates of the Caribbean ride. I saw Jack Sparrow drag the last person who did that through a door, and then there were screams. Just save yourself the trouble and get the game.
Which you can pick up at Christopher.world. We'll have a link in the show notes.
Bob, can you do me a favor?
I can absolutely do you a favor.
Can you reach over and raise the volume on the iPad?
Raise the volume on the iPad, which is this. Where are we? 7/8?
Yeah.
7/8.
Keep going. All the way up towards the middle. Keep going. Keep wherever the line is. Thank you.
I can't see the line.
Well, just put it up towards where the middle line is. Thanks. All right.
Is that good?
Yeah, here we go. Sorry about that, everybody. I forgot to do that part. New setup.
This is the Misdirected Mark Podcast, a podcast about gaming, game mastering, and entertaining you, our listeners. We are explicit, you have been warned, and I'd like to thank Mike Willard for letting us use his music on our show. Now let's pick up those mics and get on with this thing.
Yes, let us pick up those mics and get on with this thing where we deck the halls, we search for Easter eggs, we cut up turkeys, we do all of those things together.
We sing happy birthday to Emily.
And we sing happy birthday to Emily right now.
Uh-huh.
Happy birthday to you.
You.
Happy birthday to you.
You.
Happy birthday, dear Emily.
Co-host of Shizuki.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Emily. Emily from Sasky. By the way, if you didn't catch their musical episode that came out today, it was amazing. I also got to DJ it, so that was kind of cool. So thank you, ladies, for letting me DJ your episode. But yeah, we're going to talk about holidays today, right? That's the deal. That's what's going on. And with that, my name is Chris.
And my name is Phil.
And I'm Old Man Logan.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and I guess with that, Phil, buddy old pal, what is going on?
2 words. Strike Force.
Yeah, we keep playing that stupid game, man.
Chris and I are on a binge of playing Marvel Strike Force.
Yeah, a little bit. It's kind of a problem.
And PK Sullivan dissed us and joined another alliance.
What?
Yeah, he said he's on a raid right now.
Screw that guy.
I know, he totally dissed us, man. I'm like, my feelings are hurt.
I'm a little bit upset.
The Rust Belt Avengers need people, and
The Rust Belt Avengers is the name of the guild. It's only me and Phil right now.
that's it. It's just us.
We're Iron Man and Power Fisting it up right now.
That's it.
We need help.
A lot of help.
Join us.
Yeah, join us. Anyway, I've been playing that Strike Force game. It's ridiculous. It is a mastercraft demonstration in reward loops.
Oh, yeah.
Like, when you first turn on the game, there's like 15 minutes where you don't actually have control of anything, except that you just keep getting rewarded for everything you touch, right? And then as you play it longer, the rewards don't stop. So yeah. Anyway, I've been playing a lot of Strike Force, like on my downtime.
PK Sullivan said he's been in an alliance since before we started playing, and he's been in a raid since before we invited him.
Right. Fine. Still, we need alliance. We need alliance members. So people who are playing Strike Force, if you're listening, the Rust Belt Avengers. All right. Anyway, so I've been doing that, and then I've been home alone. Florence and the kids have been at Florence's parents' house for Easter, and I'm at Casa de Phil by myself, which is nice. I've been cooking, and I did some work on the ash can for Hydra Hackers.
Mm-hmm.
So I used Mark's advice from when we had him on for Cartel. He said no more than 20,000 words. And I figured out how to slice the essential parts of the game up word-wise to 20,000 and change.
Legit?
So I had to write a new intro because that's the one piece where I have way too many words.
You hit all the words in the intro.
Yeah, so I made a much smaller intro that's like more focused for an ash can.
Nice.
So anyway, I've been doing that. That was good. And we had movie night, which I'll let one of you guys talk about. And we did some Easter gaming, which I'll let one of you guys talk about. And I don't know. That was pretty much it. Just, I got a couple more days flying solo. Robert.
Yeah. So, hey, I have not been playing Strike Force. What?
Join us.
Go figure.
Join us.
So, yeah, I'll take MMP movie night, and then you can take Easter gaming. How's
Sure.
that?
Sounds good.
So, yeah, we got together on Saturday night. It was myself, Phil, Chris, Mel, and Jerry. And we sat and we watched first Streets of Fire, which was a delight watching it with Chris for the first time.
Yeah, it was fun.
Chris enjoyed the hell
I
out of
tweeted
it.
the ever living love out of it,
Yep.
too.
Can I just mention
You
that
can.
there was a moment of that movie that caught me off guard?
Which moment?
When, what's his face, the hero? What's his...
It's Tom Cody.
When Tom needs to have the showdown, and he needs to get Elle out of town.
Oh.
And they're on the train.
And he knocks her out.
And he just punches her right in the face.
And we're
Right in
like,
the
well then.
face.
That was awkward.
That
was a
was
little awkward.
a strange moment. Like, I didn't remember that. And on top of that, I'm like, not sure how I feel about that. Like, I'm not sure my feelings, like,
Yeah.
the protagonist punched the other protagonist right in the face
Yeah.
to knock her ass out. Like, I'm uncomfortable. Anyway,
Yeah.
but the rest of the movie was good. I'd forgotten. I hadn't seen it. The last time I saw it was on VHS.
Yeah.
So anyway,
That was. I thought you were going to say something else for you the moment they caught you off guard. when I decided I needed some snacks and I didn't want to bother getting in front of the TV.
Your ninja roll on the floor.
I did a shoulder roll on the floor.
I mean, I'm glad you didn't break a hip or anything.
I know.
Rolling,
That could have
rolling
been
on the floor.
dangerous. I shouldn't try those things.
Right?
Trained professional, do not try this at home, right? So movie night. Then we followed up Streets of Fire with Empire Records because I had not seen it and Jerry hadn't seen it, I think.
Correct.
Yeah,
That is
both
correct.
ends of the room. Yeah.
Yes. And that was a delight as well. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that movie's
times.
righteous.
So that was our movie night on Saturday. And then Sunday we got together and had some dinner and did some games. And
We did, man. Chris made a ham.
Yeah, Chris baked a ham.
And I made some
baked a ham.
sides.
Yeah.
There were sides.
I brought some desserts.
Yep.
Yeah.
Chris will go into that in more detail. Monday night, Chris and Drew Smith and Jerry and Rob Dorgan, we finished, air quotes, the Adventure Odvex Castle.
We'll have an epilogue next time.
And let me just say that the ending surprised all of us, I think, because we stopped the evil sorceress from ascending to godhood, and then Drew Smith decided his character was going to take her place. So,
Oh, that makes sense for Drew.
yeah.
That's a very Drew thing to do.
that seems about right.
Yeah. And then Monday afternoon, actually, I finished my proofread of the H.P. Lovecraft Preparatory Academy RPG coming from Third Eye Games. And that is going to be a load of fun. Think like Harry Potter, but instead of the Wizarding World, it's, Cthulhu mythos and all kinds of fun
Right.
accoutrement
Yeah.
associated with that. So,
There'll be that game has its own system. It's also going to come out for Pip and for Savage Worlds.
I did not know he was gonna do that as well.
Project Manager.
Excellent.
I just set up. I just,
I know
set, I
it's
just set up
using
both of those projects.
it's a variant of the PDQ system, which I have heard of, but I don't know exactly
I have also heard
what
of the PDQ
that
system.
entailed in its original form. But it's an interesting system, and it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. So, Chris, what is going on with you?
So on Easter, we played Turning Point.
Yeah.
We played the drug, I want to try a new drug
I want a new drug.
playbook, playset, I should say, and it was a lot of fun. That game is very solid. I like it a lot. It's a very tight game.
Thank you. It's been a little work in progress. Senda and I have a few more things we're polishing, but you guys actually, Chris, you contributed a great piece to a thing we were missing, which is that the scene has to go between both points.
Yes.
Somehow in the scene, both points have to get discussed.
So this game, it's about making a difficult choice of your life, and I came to realize after playing it, I'm like, oh, it's not about actually. It's not about making the choices. It's about all the moments in your life that lead up to making that choice.
Yeah, I maybe didn't explain this to you, and I don't think I've. And Senda and I had a long talk about it, but I read a bunch of articles like on how you make important life decisions, and what a lot of the articles I read was that what you wind up doing subconsciously is that like you take the current decision, and you look at past decisions or events in your life about like different key things like insecurity, financial security, those kinds of things, and then those all weigh onto that decision.
Yeah,
So
it's clever. Like, I totally get it. I mean,
Cool.
that's how people work.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we weigh all of our past life decisions in order to make current decisions usually.
Right.
It's kind of how it works. I mean, even if we don't do it consciously, we do it subconsciously,
Mm-hmm.
like you said. So the game actually models that really well. The mechanics of the game, they just need a little bit of tightening up, and I think it's the best design that you've ever put together.
Thank you.
And it's
Thank you.
a very good design. And I love the work that you and Senda did on that game.
Yeah, Senda. Some of the initial. Senda and I actually had the initial thought a while ago, and we left it like kind of lingering around, not doing much with it. And just before Metatopia, we got kind of the bug to like make a push and try to put something together. It's awesome.
It's got a good name. It's got a good set of unique mechanics.
Yeah, it's a load of fun.
All right. Next thing. I saw Ready Player One. If you're a fan of the book, I'm not going to spoil anything. If you're a fan of the book, don't go in there expecting to watch the book, because it's not that in any way, shape, or form. I will tell you that there's a lot of the elements of the book in there.
So if you're looking for specific nerd moments,
Yeah, they're not in there.
okay. But if you're looking for that gist of what the original book was, do I get that?
The what?
Like the gist of the...
The plot's the same.
Yeah.
The plot points are all pretty much completely different, and also the characters are not the same characters that you won't really recognize them as such. Wade doesn't feel like Wade from the book, and Artemis doesn't feel like Artemis from the book.
I think if Wade doesn't feel like Wade from the book, that might be a plus in
Yeah.
in the overall execution.
And I get why they did it. I actually kind of like expected a lot of the stuff that kind of sort of happened with that. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't expect them to change as much as they did, but licensing is a thing, right? Like when you have a story that is pretty much relies 50% on pop culture references, you have to, and you can't license all the pop culture references.
Yeah,
So,
You
Yeah.
get the ones that you can get.
Who the hell's Chad? What are they talking about?
Chad is the nickname for the headache that Kevin was experiencing,
No.
and Chad has gone to visit several of us recently.
That's too bad. I was sick too, and then I got better. I played volleyball last night for the first time in a while, like that, like in a league. That was interesting. I'm very sore
I was
this
gonna
morning.
say, how you feeling?
A little sore. Yeah, I really enjoyed Ready Player One, by the way, for those who are wondering. Like, I thought it was a lot of fun to watch, and I liked it. It's doing a lot of things that the book did, just in a very different way.
I was gonna go see it in secret because there's been so much geek backlash. Like I was afraid, I'd get attacked on Twitter for going to watch it.
Yeah, you know what? Screw all the haters.
Today we tested out our setup for the game room. This is why we're sitting where we're sitting right now.
Yeah, because if you're watching the stream and you're like, hey, why
I know my
is
fireplace is behind me.
Yeah, why is everything different?
That's why.
This is why.
But it worked so far, so that was good. Would you both agree?
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah.
This was, I think, configuration number 2.
Yes.
I like this.
This will be the configuration that we probably use.
Mhm.
And we'll be in the week after, not next week, because next week we have Alex Roberts on the show, but the week after that we'll be playing High Plains Samurai.
High Plains
Awesome.
Samurai.
That's awesome.
And next week we'll be practicing again playing this sequence game, which is the game that I designed.
Yeah, so if you're chilling at home or you've got your computer on and you're,
Around 7 o'clock.
around 7 o'clock, you might get a notification that we've gone live. That's not the show.
No.
That's just us messing
the
around.
warm up,
Yep.
playing around.
And the last thing I want to say real quick is, I suppose I could say in announcements. I'll say more in announcements. The QCC Kickstarter, you folks that are listening right now, it's coming next week. Not in the chat room, I should say. You folks who are hearing this next week, it'll already be ongoing.
Yes.
So the Kickstarter will be running currently. Assuming that we fix some of we're trying to get financial approval from Kickstarter, because it's a new company. It's being a pain. I have a couple of tickets in and whatnot. It's problematic. I mean, it's the Kickstarter is interesting in some ways, shapes, and forms, man. It's just a kind of a nightmare.
It's funny because it's a new company, but the QCC's actually been several Kickstarters.
Yeah.
Yeah. You would think that would weigh into their decision.
Yep. I'll talk a little bit more about the QCC during the announcements part of this segment.
Mm-hmm.
Which I guess that's it for me, right? We can just move on to announcements.
Yeah, do the things.
All right, let's continue on with this QCC thing. So the Kickstarter is coming. It's much simpler this year. There is a VIP level. If you want to get early registration and a bunch of other goodies you want to get on the VIP level. The VIP level is not cheap. It's a little pricey.
Yeah.
It is, I will tell you all right now, there's only 35 slots of these things. 30 of them are for people, and then 5 of them are for a table VIP. So you get your table in the past, and you get the VIP package. The VIP package, this is what you get. So it's $150, but what you get is you're invited to the VIP party, which is at Pearl Street on Thursday night. Plus you get dinner and stuff there. That's where you get to hang out with all the guests that are invited, because all the guests are invited to the VIP party. There's going to be a room that is set aside just for the VIPs to hang out in during the convention. There'll be snacks and goodies in there, and you can keep your stuff in there.
Oh, nice.
So that's a thing. You'll get early registration, so there's not going to be selling the games like we did last year. So if you want to get in games, like you want to play games with Phil or Senda or any of the other guests that are going to be in attendance, then if you don't want to wait for regular registration to open up, you want to have one of these packages.
That's cool.
And there are a number of other things. You get you're going to get a special glass. You're going to get like a pint glass that is.
Oh man, I have my pint glass from last year, man. I love that glass.
It's going to be different from the ones that we sell to the general public.
That's even cooler.
Yeah. You'll get you like a VIP, a badge that identifies you as a VIP, and you get your T-shirt, your dice, things like that.
Yeah.
And
cool swag.
Yeah, cool swag. That is what you get. I'm sure I'm forgetting a few things, but they're.
It'll be listed in the Kickstarter.
It'll be listed in the Kickstarter.
Yeah.
So all that good stuff. Okay, that's the QCC. Let's talk about Whirlwind Millionaire.
Whirlwind Millionaire is just about ready to go live. Whirlwind Millionaire is the game about what happens after you win the lottery, and it's a solo RPG where you will sit down and play out 3 phases of your newfound wealth. And the goal is to find out if you can hold on to your wealth and can you hold on to your health and happiness as you face these kind of trials and tribulations that are determined by a deck of cards. It's going to be available on Drive Through Cards. The fully printed cards, that set is $5.95, so less than the cost of 2 Powerball tickets. And the print and play is going to be, I think, $2.95.
No, the print and play is $2.95.
Print and play. So if you just want the PDF and cut out the card, and sleeve them yourself kind of thing, $2.95.
But why would you do that when
the cards look pretty boss?
And they're only, what, $6?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's $6. It's $6. But you, on drive-through, you always put both on. So like I said, $5.95. It is, I don't know, it's almost all ready. I think the only thing we are going to wait on is an AP.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna do an AP, right? You're
going to
a
record
playthrough?
it. Yes, I'm going to try.
Because you have the cards right now.
I do have the
right?
cards.
Yeah. So yeah, that's Whirlwind Millionaire. Coming very soon.
In case there's any confusion out there in listener land, there are more levels than just the VIP level. It's just the one that I spotlighted. Like, you can just buy your badge, your 3-day badge for the QCC through the Kickstarter. And there's only 1, 2, and 3-day badges. Like, there's no Sunday, Monday package. There's no Sunday, Friday packages or Saturday, Sunday packages or anything weird like that. It's just either 1 day, a 2-day, or a 3-day badge. That's all there is. Some other things too, but mostly that. All right.
Coolness. What else?
What else? We're talking about. Okay, last thing, right? Is that what we're moving on to?
Yeah.
So the April ad sale. So you can buy ad space with us during the month of April. So you can buy ad space with us this month, and we will continue to do them over the course of the year if we have to. As many as we sell, but we'll sell as many as we can during April for $30.
Yeah.
And what you do is you get a pre-roll ad on Misdirected Mark, like you heard earlier. You get or Down with D&D or Pandas Talking Games, your choice. You let us know. Plus, you get ad space on the Queen City Conquest website in the form of a graphic no larger than 500 by 500 pixels with a link to your product or website that the graphic in the that it will go to, and then that graphic will also go in the QCC con book. There you go. That's what's going on. So please give us. It's just a really cheap ad space, honestly, for what you get.
I mean, you can get your ad with Send a Giggling.
Yes.
That is a.
Yes, you can. Apparently,
that is a thing you can. That is a thing you can get. Is you can get giggling in your ad.
All right. Should we move on?
Yeah.
So we're gonna go into the garage.
Access granted.
All right. In celebration of Emily from Sasgeek and the Wednesday Evening Podcast All-Stars, and she's also on the Redemption Podcast, her birthday, we let her pick this topic during the after show last week. We're going to talk about holidays and festivals. So Phil and Senda did this a few months ago on episode 71 of Pandas Talking Games, but we still wanted to give Emily her wish, and we wanted to do something a little bit different and a little bit more on brand for Misdirected Mark podcast. So after some thought and a suggestion from Senda, we are talking about how to design mechanisms for your holidays and festivals. In order to do that, we are going to ask Phil to recycle some of his notes from Panda's episode 71 and review holidays and festivals. So, Definition Panda, would you please define holidays and festivals for us?
Yeah, absolutely. So, holiday, day of festivity or recreation when no work is done, right? Doesn't that sound awesome? I just love that definition. Festival, an annual celebration or anniversary, like a birthday. Okay. So in our everyday lives, like we have plenty of these going on.
we really
right?
do.
And of different flavors, right? So like we have religious holidays.
Yeah, like Christmas, Easter, Ash Wednesday.
We have national holidays.
There's the 4th of July, Bastille Day, and the Queen's birthday. And I forgot to ask you, what the hell is up with this parenthetical?
Did you not catch the context that I took these from Pandas?
No.
These are notes from the Pandas episode. So where it says the Queen's birthday is that my birthday. The Queen's birthday is actually a Australian holiday. Senda in the Panda episode makes a joke about it.
An episode which I did not listen to.
Right, and I did not edit out the parentheses in the notes.
And neither did I, because I didn't know what it was for.
Right. Context, people. Context. Literally copied these out of
Literally copied the
Pandas and
notes
just
out of it.
recolored it.
That's fair.
There were observances.
Yeah, like Halloween, Mardi Gras, St. Patrick's Day, and Valentine's Day.
Yep, and there are personal holidays.
Like
and festivals.
regular birthdays for us average folk, and then anniversaries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what all of these have in common are that there is a date or dates that they occur, and they can be fixed, like the 4th of July, or they can be relative, like the 4th Thursday of the month of November.
There are also customs. These are things that people do during the holiday. So, exchanging presents, watching fireworks, getting inebriated like bathtub drunk.
Yes, like bathtub drunk.
I've done that on a Halloween or two.
Uh-huh.
You totally did that.
And St. Patrick's Day.
I don't actually drink that much on St. Patrick's Day.
No?
No.
Okay.
I usually try to have a green beer, but I didn't even do that this
How
year.
about a Cinco de Mayo? Like, are you...
Nah, man, that's just not my thing.
Oh, man, I'm all for, like, drinking margaritas and having...
I mean, I'm going to drink tequila on Cinco de Mayo if I'm out and doing something, but,
That's cool. Anyway, some of the other things about holidays, right? They have symbols, right? There are things that... they're representations of the holiday, right? They can be decorations. They can be ways to adorn locations or people for the celebration. So, like the heart for Valentine's Day, the jack-o'-lantern for our Halloween. And then, like, for anniversaries, there's, like, what is it? The first anniversary is, like, paper. The second one's...
Cotton.
Cotton. Is it cotton?
Pretty sure.
Cotton, paper. Somewhere there's leather. I know I like that one. Like, that anniversary is cool, right?
Come
Leather.
on now.
There is. Don't...
I'm not.
All right,
It's
just
fine.
saying.
It's,
Okay.
there you go.
Go ahead.
Are we on the next one finally?
Yeah, I'm done.
Activities. These are also things that people do during the holiday. So, play or observe sports, the Queen's Day and Thanksgiving. There are parades that happen, like the Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or, any parade that happens on St. Patrick's Day.
Like all of the
parades.
all of the parades that happen on St. Patrick's.
Veterans Day, there's usually parades too.
There is squirting the guy that you were attracted with a squirt
on
gun.
Dingus Day, and then
he
getting
hits
hit with
you with a pussy willow?
I thought the girls hit the guys with the pussy
Yes,
willows.
The girl, right, and the guys squirt the girls
with
water.
With water. Yes, that's how that
For
works.
people who are not from
It's
Buffalo,
not creepy at all.
It's very Polish.
right? Maybe PK Sullivan gets that because maybe there's a Dingus Day in Chicago, but not too many other places.
Yeah, we just did very, 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 very Polish.
Yes. And finally, there's an overall tone for the holiday.
Yeah.
So this is basically the general mood. Like, is it a time of celebration and joy? Is it a time of thankfulness? Is it a time of remembrance, like Armistice Day? Right? Like, there's a celebration around it, but it's also, a somewhat solemn time.
Yep.
Or is it a time of reflection?
Sure.
Okay.
Which holidays are times of reflection?
Well, I don't know. I mean, different religious holidays.
Those are the ones that I would think of.
Yeah.
Maybe Good Friday.
Yeah, Good Friday, Ash Wednesday.
I never think of Good Friday being a very, very celebratory time. Because,
No.
it's the remembrance of nailing somebody to a cross.
Yeah, well, that whole Holy Week is. If you're really like doing the full-on Catholic thing, like Holy Week is like the entire week before Easter. There are activities.
Yes, there are.
Some of them very solemn. Some of them a bit more joyous.
Somebody in the chat room, Mo Tusino, just said that Thanksgiving is supposed to be about reflection.
Well, maybe in Canada it's about reflection. Here in the U.S. it's about football and gluttony.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate.
Yes, football and gluttony.
I think Canadians are more sensible than we are.
So what's next?
So a lot of times holidays get treated as setting, right?
They do, in fact. they are often treated as setting. They can tell you a lot about a culture. They can provide a reference to a part of history, things like that. And in that way, they work quite well.
And for more on that, you should check out Pandas episode 71, where that gets covered for both one-shots and campaigns, as you do in a Pandas episode.
As you do.
Well, not lately.
all of them.
Not lately. Not for like the last 5, but you know.
We're coming back, baby. We're
100 was good. There's a lot of closet talk.
101, which we just recorded, is a campaign in one shot.
Oh, nice.
There you go.
Anyways, there's a lot more that you can do with holidays, and we would be remiss as hosts if we did not put the Misdirected Mark spin on them. So let's mechanize this bitch.
Wow. Wow, okay.
What?
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting you to hit the language, but sure.
We are explicit.
You've been warned. So now we're going to look at the idea of taking holidays and pairing them up with mechanisms to give them not only a narrative impact, but to give the game also a mechanical impact. And this is going to take the form of like some sort of bonus or effect that takes effect because the holiday, right? Because of this holiday. So let's break that open and look at the factors that we need to consider in terms of mechanisms.
Sure, absolutely. So these types of mechanisms, as it turns out, this exercise is going to look a bit like creating spells. In some ways, there are a number of parallels to spells, a bit more than we want to dig into for this segment, but we're going to consider a bunch of stuff as we build these mechanisms for our holidays. So what's the first one, Phil?
So when? Right? So when does this mechanism kick in? So is it a specific date? Is it a date range? Is it a specific time on a given day?
Yeah.
Yep.
Then there's where. In what location will this mechanism work? Is there a general area? Is there a special place of celebration or worship involved? Those kind of things.
Yep. The who. Who is the target of this mechanism? Is it anyone out there in the world? It does have to be specific faithful followers of a religion or a faith or something. And do they have to be active participants, or does this stuff just kind of naturally happen to them?
How? How do you actually trigger this effect, right? Like, does it just happen, right? So maybe there's nothing you have to do. Maybe there's just a common ritual or custom, like lighting of candles or something like that. Or maybe there's like a hidden ritual, like it's more arcane, like it's less, less known or hidden.
What? Yeah, what?
What?
What does this mechanism do?
There we go.
Oh, okay. Now I know what you're saying. Took a second to get there.
Is there a bonus to a skill or a stat? Do you gain knowledge? Is there some kind of special effect like healing or invulnerability or a vulnerability, perhaps?
Maybe there's only one way to kill the wicked monster, and it's on a particular evening with a particular blade by a particular person at a particular time.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Did I miss one?
I don't know. I think you got all
I think I missed one.
Do you have to do a certain thing?
Oh, yeah, by stabbing them in a particular place.
Yeah.
There you go. I hit all 5 now.
Nice. There you go. All right. So now that we've discussed what goes into a holiday and how it could be mechanized, we're going to take a break, check in with the chat room. And when we come back, we're actually going to do this with a couple different game systems.
I'm so confused. It's the fastest we've ever gone through a first segment ever.
Don't worry.
You're welcome.
We'll manage to drag it out. For
What just happened? I'm so confused. My brain is not ready for this part of the show yet. Anyways.
We're going fast.
Yeah.
So Cypher...
I'm sorry.
I'm not
You
done.
have to do your
Yeah, I
thing.
do my thing.
Yeah, so before we get to the chat room, Chris, tell us about another show on the Misdirected Mark Network.
Absolutely. Cyphers Speak. The Cypher Speak podcast is an engaging discussion that covers the evocative and inclusive settings of the Cypher system. Darcy and Trey are entertaining co-hosts who offer GM advice and ideas for use in your games. And their most recent episode, which dropped earlier today, was about how other games can be impacted by the things in the Cypher system. So how to take Cypher system mechanics and apply them to other places.
GM Intrusion.
GM Intrusion was one of them. Although when they were talking about it, like Darcy is not very, very versed in Fate. And I'm like, there's like, Fate has a GM intrusion in it. It's called a compel.
Yeah,
Like,
it's already in there.
Yeah.
but the like using the compel for, as a way to give inspiration was the thing that they threw out there.
Yeah, neat.
They were also talking about ciphers, which is a thing I don't think it's used a lot in other games. It sort of can be, but it usually isn't. Like these one-shot items or these one-shot powers.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing I've always liked about them is that they're one-shot items, one-shot powers, and you can't actually carry too many of them. Like you're encouraged to get them,
and spend
use them, and get more.
There you go.
Yeah.
Now they were talking about ways to do that in other games, and I was like, oh man! As I was listening to them, like there's so many ways that you can apply this in so many different places. Like the consumable items in D&D are easy, right? Like you just have these consumable items. Like once you use it, it goes away.
Sure.
But they were talking about other things too. I thought it was fascinating. It's a really cool episode. I think people should go listen to it. That's all I'm saying.
Cool.
Love it.
All right, go to the chat room.
All right, so first off, on the topic of mechanize that bitch, Rob Rosado said, let me say, for maybe the first time, I would not buy that T-shirt.
Hang on. I'm pretty sure on Pandas, I don't remember if we got it on the mics or not. We were talking about a Vig Master. It was a new a Vig Master short story called April Showers.
That's a little weird. That's a little weird.
It's awkward.
Yes. GM Gerrymander says he loves using holidays for cultural and role-playing cues. Excuse me. Also as a way to implement legends, plot hooks, and leads. He's used a holiday as a plot before for the greatest singer in the city kidnapped the day before the celebration of the muses that pacifies the city.
Oh, yeah.
So that's a good one.
That's good. I like that.
Jared Rasher says he loved the Night of the Eye in Dragonlance, but almost never used it in game because they set the date of it in too many books. So he was always afraid someone would figure out that he just made up. Excuse me, would figure out that I just made up when it happened.
Yeah, I mean that's the problem with canon holidays. Right?
Yeah.
Well, the problem with canon holidays is if you're not, in the terms of Gary Gygax, keeping accurate time records of your game,
Yeah.
like you run into problems when using things that have like known dates and stuff.
Jerry also said that it's a good time for letting the players use the holiday as a chance to implement their own legends.
Oh yeah, totally. In the Pandas episode, we actually talk about character-inspired holidays. So the kind of holidays, like in a campaign, like after the characters have done something amazing, the people of the town have a holiday.
Yeah.
In kind of Janestown-like, right? Like.
Yeah, Janestown.
Love that episode.
This is a really good episode.
Yeah.
All right.
So
we
yeah.
are caught up.
We're caught up.
Let's do the thing with the thing.
Insanity. Okay, well, welcome back. So for this half of the segment, we're going to create some example mechanisms for different game systems using an example holiday. We're going to be using 3 systems for tonight: Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition, Powered by the Apocalypse, and Fate.
Mm-hmm. Here's our holiday. Night of the Pale Star. Erlis, the queen of hoarfrost and woe, is often regarded as a cruel and cold god who delights in the suffering of her worshippers.
Whoosh, whoosh.
But annually, when the pale star comes to its zenith during the coldest of nights, she grants a rare opportunity for those who are suffering to find their true path. On that night, using the proper invocations, Erlis will trade suffering, either physical or emotional, for insight. Those that are in pain will not only be granted solace, but will be given a rare insight into their own fate, one that, if acted upon, will change the course of their lives.
Mm-hmm. Good stuff.
I'm inspired by the Gauntlet. I gotta tell you that Gauntleteers who often contribute to like Codex and stuff, this is like the shit they write. Like that's what I was shooting for.
Mm-hmm.
A Gauntlet like holiday.
Yeah. You succeeded?
We'll find out. Rob will let me know if I succeed.
I think you succeeded.
Thank you.
Having listened to pretty much every episode of Discern Reality.
Uh-huh.
All right, so where do you want to start? D&D?
Yeah, let's do it. So,
I wrote the whole thing for it already.
Yeah, do it, man. Do it up.
All right, so for Dungeons & Dragons, a ritual spell is what I came up with. Now, ritual spells are spells that you generally don't need components for. You just have to do a thing, and it takes time. So, on the night of the Pale Star, one needs to draw a star in freshly fallen snow and then kneel in the center of it while naked for 1 hour, chanting the prayer of woe the entire time, and having nothing disturb the circle magically or physically. The chanter takes 3 levels of exhaustion over the hour and then makes a DC 18 Constitution saving throw. If the chanter passes, a crystal tear falls from their eye and their exhaustion is banished. If the chanter fails, they gain nothing, are cold, and can't remove the levels of exhaustion by magical means. Only natural rest can restore them.
Nice.
That is the mechanic that I came up with for that particular holiday.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
I like that.
If you succeed, also you get the crystal tear, which is a wondrous item. It's rare. So this tear, when swallowed, you have to swallow your own tears.
Nice.
Allows you to see a vision of your future where you can alter your fate. You know if you speak about it, the magic will fade. But when you decide the moment is upon you, you can take your next D20 roll as an automatic 20.
No, sweet.
Because because the whole point of it is it will help you change your fate in the future.
Yeah, exactly. Whether it's a skill check, whether it's
Correct.
an attack roll.
Yep. So
like
you
that.
pick the roll that you want, and it automatically becomes a 20. But it only ever gets to be used once.
That's awesome.
No fate but what we make.
There you go. So that is my D&D mechanism.
That's really cool. I want to kind of like peel into this a little and kind of talk about some of the cool
Sure.
pieces of it.
Let's do it.
So I like how you tied the use of exhaustion and the Constitution saving throw,
Because those are two mechanisms in D&D.
right? That match up with woe,
Uh-huh.
right?
Yes.
Like that was good. I also like that. I also like that you have a penalty if like you are found unworthy.
Yeah. Because
Right.
what's the point then?
Yeah, like if you're found unworthy, like forget it. You can't heal this shit. Go home and go to sleep. Like you missed it.
Yep. So, I mean, we have it, like the specific date already, because it's the night. We've already established that for all of these, right? Like it's the night.
Yep.
The where, you have to draw a circle in fresh snow.
Yeah, I like that.
Yep. The who, it's just whoever's in the circle. We got that, right? The how, you have to pray chanting for an hour. Like you have to consistently chant for an hour. Nobody can disturb you,
Right.
uninterrupted. And then we know what it does.
Yeah.
It causes you to cry a crystal tear.
Yep. And then we know that crystal tear then has
A special effect
yep, special
if you
effect.
swallow it. So there you go.
That is wickedly cool. I would totally play with that in my game.
There you go.
Awesome.
Anything else? Do you want to talk about that, or you want to move on to the next thing?
No, why don't we kick around the next one?
All right, because I didn't write anything for
because
this.
we didn't write this one, so we're gonna write it right here.
So the reason I didn't, like, I'm the one that knows D&D best.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, like,
I
I
kind
mean,
of figured you would do the first
I know the
one.
mechanisms and how they kind of interact with each other, so I figured I'd do us the favor and just put that together.
Yes, which I thought was excellent.
All right.
Okay. All right, so let's do. So since we're gonna do Powered by the Apocalypse, and because we picked Erlis, the Queen of Horror, Frost and Woe.
I love Erlis.
I love Erlis. Let us do Dungeon World.
Okay.
Right, because I think that would be the. I think it would make the most sense.
Sure.
All right, so
I should let you do this because I would just use my thing again in Dungeon World.
yeah, I'm gonna just let's riff off of it, right? Like, I think what I want to do with this, and I'm not gonna do the exact wording yet. I'll bounce it off you. Is I think I want something like a discern realities, but with a bit more, right? Because discern realities is easy because that's a move I can do anytime.
So this is about finding your true path, right?
Yeah.
Whatever your true path is, like maybe this is the thing that opens up new playbooks for you. The compendium classes.
Interesting.
That could be a way to go with it.
So then maybe this effect is bigger, right? So maybe opening a compendium class is a possibility if the roll is high enough.
Sure.
If the what other fate changing things could happen in the game? I suspect you could. I suspect similar to the Crystal Tier, you could hold a question for the GM at a specific time in the game where you could, ask. You could ask a question about your character that the GM would have to answer truthfully.
Sure. I mean, that's pretty much how every question type thing generally goes in Dungeon World.
Yeah, that's where I'm feeling like it's not quite enough.
So this is why I think to take the whole path of like it's got to be a different kind of like changing your fate thing. Like I think that's why it opens up. I could put this in my campaign as a thing like this is the only way really to open up your path to different compendium classes because it's changing your fate
or change your playbook.
Change your playbook. This is the only way to change your playbook and play. Like you just strip that stuff out of the game and then say this is the only way to do it is you have to like do this ritual. It's
or
like,
this is the only other way you can do it again.
Ah, there you go. That's interesting.
Right.
But that's an alternate thing. So the move would be like when you pray to Erlis.
Roll plus whiz
After you do these things. When you pray to Erlis on the night of the Zenith Star, or on the night of the what is the night? It's the night of the Pale Star.
Right.
At the zenith of the star's arc. Roll plus whiz.
I'm gonna give you an alternate idea for an effect. What if instead of asking the GM a question, you are so on a 10 plus, right? Like the best version of this is that you will make a statement to the GM that will come true in this game.
That's an interesting thought.
That works to me way better in Dungeon World than it does in other games. So sure.
Yeah, like so for instance, like, like you're able to say something like, I will slay the Black King.
It's almost like a wish spell.
Yeah, it's almost like a
except
wish
it doesn't
spell.
happen instantly.
Yeah.
Because once you say, like, I
Oh.
will slay the Black King, you're going to slay the Black King.
So perhaps you say it, and the GM will tell you how that will come to be, so that you know what your path is. Like, I'm going to slay the Black King, and then the GM would say, yes, when you possess the Blade of Entropy.
Except it's going to happen then. It's almost like you have to...
I mean, in a way, it's like love lettering your.
it is. It's if it's true and you said it, then it's definitely a wish spell.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
it
that's
is
fine.
kind of a wish.
Sure,
There's
sure,
nothing. There's nothing wrong with it. I just wanted it to be understood that
Yeah.
the mechanism in play is a wish spell, but it is skinned in such a way that it is a prophecy.
Yes.
It is, is prophetic, I should say.
Yeah, and I think with the right wording wrapped around it, it won't be it wouldn't be like squandered.
Correct. Like, I mean, the way that you just said it right there is fine because, like, you're gonna kill the Black King, the Black.
Yeah, I don't know.
What did you say? I
The
forget.
Black King.
The Black King. It's just that it doesn't say what happens, what the fallout of that is, or what your status is after you've killed the Black King, right?
Right.
So, I mean, yeah, you get to be the epic hero or villain or whatever. Maybe the Black King is actually a good dude.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, just because he likes to wear black doesn't mean he's a bad guy.
And that actually is the beauty of prophecy, because prophecy has so much to do with interpretation that you can read it one way and it could be the complete opposite.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm going to kill the Black King, and everybody thinks that's a good thing. You know, the Black King, he's a bad guy probably because he's black in garb, you know, that kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
And then you go and you kill him, and you find out that he was like the benevolent ruler.
Yeah, I suppose what I'm getting at is, like, I think it's a cool mechanism. It is very much framed like a wish spell. There's nothing wrong with that. It's very much prophetic in a lot of ways. I think that's cool.
I think it's not immediate, right? I think that's the thing about it. Like a D&D wish spell is like on 1,000,000 gold pieces.
Well, sure,
Bam,
it's a
1,000,000 gold.
reskinned wish spell.
Yeah, so this one's like a wish spell, but like without immediate fulfillment. Like,
So in play, like you said, out of play, like meta-wise,
Yeah.
it functions as a love letter to the GM. Like, this is what I want to happen in the game. In the game, in the flavor of the story, it's basically it's functioning similar to a wish.
yeah,
Like, especially if you get to declare.
yeah,
But that actually kind of gets away from the flavor of what the idea is, because it's supposed to show you your true path.
yeah. That's why I was saying, like, you tell, like, I the way I was trying to get to the path part was like, so maybe it's not so much a wish, like a declaration. Now that we're bouncing it back and forth, maybe it is, you tell me the thing you want to do, and I will tell you the path by which you will get there, right? Like, I am going, like you say, like my destiny is to, to slay the Black King, and I say, but that will only happen when you acquire the Sword of Entropy.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you acquire the Sword of Entropy, right? Like something where it's not like, hey, no matter what, this is what happens, but more like, hey, this is the direction I want to go in, and what the GM clarifies for you is, hey, this is the shortest path to get there.
So here's what I would do then.
Yeah.
If I was going to write this move up.
Yeah.
When you pray to Urlus at the da, that's the move,
Yep.
the black part. That's the move. Like, when you fulfill this, when you trigger the move, basically.
When you trigger the move.
There's who, what, where, when, why, and how, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you roll a 10+, you can ask the GM to give you 4 of them. If you roll a 7 or 9, you only get 3. If you roll a 6-, you only get 2.
Yes.
That leaves it vague.
Or if we want to be really, if you want to be slightly more dickish, on a 10+, you ask the 4 or whatever, they are all truthful. On a 7 to 9, you ask the 4, 3 of them are truthful. And on a 6-, you ask the 4, and only 2 of them are truthful.
Why?
Oh, I like it, because then you get all sorts of weird prophecies, or you're following the wrong thing.
But if only 2 of them, if only half of them are truthful on a 6-, then how do you know what to believe? Like,
Yeah, exactly. Well, you rolled a 6-.
well,
How do
then
you know
why
what to believe?
believe any of them then?
Well,
Like, what's the? I don't understand how that drives play, other than just confusing and frustrating the player.
Well, I think it just creates a moment of doubt, right? Like the player's like, no, I'm going to try this thing. Like, I'm going to go down, like I'm going to acquire this thing or find this thing or whatever. And it turns out not to be the thing.
It also kind of like plays against, if we're going to write it for Dungeon World, there's nothing that ever says in Dungeon World to not really. I mean, there is the
I've seen moves like that. I mean, that's not uncommon in moves. Not with questions. With questions, it'll say the GM will it often says the GM will answer truthfully, right?
Yeah.
Like discern realities is very clear about that. You will ask these questions. You can ask these questions. The GM will answer truthfully, but you can say, and I've seen moves like that have been written up on discern realities and stuff, where you can say that the information is unreliable in some context. You just don't like it.
No, I mean, but I don't understand how that drives play at all.
Because some of it's still true, and so you just still have to pursue it. You just have to understand that if you get there and it isn't what you think it is, that was one of the ones that wasn't true because you rolled shitty.
So I just red herring for, when we talk about red herrings, how stupid they are.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're a good GM, you've done something useful during the red herring.
Maybe, but like that's the thing. Like, I don't know.
Because to me, on a 6-, getting 2 pieces of 4 sounds
no, because you only get ever 4 of the 6 at the most. So it's only 2 of the 6.
You still get like a third of the information for failing.
Sure, and then you can, as a game master, make a move too.
Yeah.
Let's just say that each individual GM and or group may handle it a different way.
Well, no. I mean, the point of a move is you don't handle it a different way. Like
You can interpret them.
Yeah, they get interpreted anyway. I've played enough Dungeon World with enough different people now that I see it get interpreted different ways. Like the way that Jason Cordova interprets moves is not the way that I interpret moves.
I'm not saying I'm the specific move or GM move.
The specific moves.
GM moves are open.
How I've seen people interpret discern realities is very different from person to person.
Okay.
And how because the problem is it's how they decide to relate the question to the context of the situation.
Mm-hmm.
It's always very, very generally skews. Also, spout lore is very, very interpretive.
Yeah.
Like what somebody decides is a useful piece of information can to just an interesting piece of information.
Whether it's interesting, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen that.
I'm also just not interested in lying to my players or misleading them. I
Okay.
mean, I like to distract them, and I think in adventure fiction, misleading is
I'm
often
more okay with that answer. That you just don't like feeding disinformation to players. I'm okay with
I
that.
also don't understand how it drives play. I really don't. I think that just frustrates and confuses players like red herrings do in games.
It's fair enough.
And I also haven't seen a red herring effectively pulled off in a game in like over a decade.
Fair enough.
That was enjoyable for people. Like I've run it and been part of it, whereas like where the game master thought it was clever, I'm like, that was kind of dumb. We just wasted like an hour.
Yeah. So
yeah,
I'm not sure if I want to do all the parts or if I just want to like you say what you want. I'll tell you the fastest path to get there.
Yeah. Jared Rescher's got an interesting take on it here. On a 10+, you gain 3 hold. Spend 1 to treat any roll as a 10 when you explain the truth that led you to this point. On a 7 to 9, gain 1 hold. On a 6-, gain 1 hold, but the GM also gains 1 hold to spend to introduce a hard move that represents a complication in the revealed truth later on. That's an interesting take on it, too.
That is a better version of the move that we were talking about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally works.
So what else we got?
So, I mean, just to round out this last piece, right? So in order to set it up correctly, we have to have the triggering piece. I think we're pretty sure wisdom is the
We don't even have what is the trigger?
That's what I'm saying. We don't have a triggering piece.
So let's figure out the trigger then. Let's do a different trigger than what we did from before.
So Erlis likes likes emotional or physical suffering. So maybe you need one of those -1s to trade.
-1s.
Like what is it? Sprained and what are the ones you get? Conditions.
Yeah. Yeah, you could do that. That's fine.
Do you not like it?
Oh, I mean, I think we could do better than that.
Okay.
So here, check it out.
Start with that and work up.
I was thinking, like, when you sacrifice something that you love and care about that will cause you emotional distress.
Sure.
So, like, a beloved pet or a lover or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I think a bit dark and macabre.
Well, the
even
Queen of
for
Hoarfrost
Erlis.
of Woe is kind of dark and macabre.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, that one.
She stretched you out on the ice for a month in the cold and cut your innards out a few times.
Yeah, but she didn't have me kill my puppy.
Yeah, well, you were like telling people like their lovers didn't actually love them as you were murdering them.
I might have done that.
Yeah, I think I'm well within the realm of darkness according to our Earless of Queen, or our Queen for Frost and Woe.
I mean, I think it's fine. I think that's I think it's fine. So bring something you love and murder it.
Yeah.
And on the correct night.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not my favorite. I mean, I don't particularly like the first thing I suggested either, but that one seems really harsh.
For a lighter one, maybe give up a bond.
Interesting. If you're playing
That's
with
from
bonds,
Rob.
I mean,
Sever a bond.
yeah.
But sever a bond in the fiction. I always like, whenever I'm playing Dungeon World, I always want the fiction to drive everything. I don't really like if you come with a broken leg or whatever. I don't. That is less interesting to me than the fiction of Dungeon World.
Mm-hmm.
So, the fictional part of it is the more important part of it to me.
I mean, I don't need anyone slaying anything if somebody wants to, explain where their pain is from.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, I mean, when you explain what what has brought you woe, I mean, you can do it as that, right? It's a jilted lover. It's your friend who got killed in the dungeon. It's
Yeah, you could tell a story. That's fine too. I like that.
Yeah. But it has to be like, it can't be cheesy, right? So it's got to be like when you tell a personal tale of considerable woe.
Uh-huh. And then that should be something that the GM brings back later.
Yeah. Or if it's something that actually happened in the campaign, like it's actually part of the fiction.
Sure.
Like so-and-so died. Like that was my best friend. And, now my best friend is dead, whatever. Something with like a little impact. Like I would be,
Here,
I
let's
don't know. Go
let's
ahead.
talk about. So first off, how does this tie back into the holiday? That's an important thing.
Right. So the idea was that Earless trades suffering, either physical or emotional, for insight.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So if you are emotionally suffering,
Mm-hmm.
right, that's and you get to give it up, right? You give it to her, you gain solace, and she grants you insight.
So I think from a design point of view, for it to be what I would consider good design, whatever it is,
Mm-hmm.
whatever is given up, needs to either be immediately impactful to the character in the moment, or it needs to be something that will come back to haunt them in the future, not something that's already happened to them, because then you're not really giving up anything.
Okay.
So there's no consequence or risk or there's no game really in that. Also, it's not creating story going forward. It's just referring to something that's happened in the past.
Mm-hmm.
So unless, I mean, that to me is what is good about Powered by the Apocalypse, is how it drives play forward.
Okay.
So I always want my moves to drive play forward.
So what is it that what is the thing then?
Well, if the thing is, like you said, if it's something that, if it's something painful, a memory or something like that pops up,
Mm-hmm.
then it needs to play into the future of the game. So the game master should file that away and bring it up later.
So then the move should actually do that then. Instead of just passively saying like the GM gets, this is a thing the GM brings up later, because that's not a good move. Then even in the 10 plus, the 7 to 9, the 6 minus, that should be reflected.
Sure.
Like on a 6 minus, the thing that you just brought up will immediately, at the first at the first opportune moment, will come back and haunt you.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Right. On a 7 to 9, this thing is
Although that kind of plays into Jared's move of like, you have hold 1 to use later.
Yeah.
That is related to this.
Yeah, but we can blend, Jared's piece in. But
Which I actually like that.
If we're
idea.
saying that we're going to take the consequences, then I think at the 10 plus,
This is the thing that you did to me in Fate when I failed a roll and decided to succeed with a complication.
Yeah.
And then you waited 3 sessions to drop it on me.
yeah, I mean, I took it off screen.
Yeah, that is what this is. This is basically saying, do that.
Right, and I think just the difference in the check is how fast the return is going to be for that.
Yeah, and I think it should be at the speed of story, like whenever that is appropriate. But the game master always has that in his pocket to use.
Right, but I'm saying like on a 6 minus, use it like now. Like you brought up your dead, you brought up your dead companion, and when you return to town, his brothers are waiting
Sure.
in town,
That's-
right?
that's
ready
legit.
ready to kick your ass. But on a 10 plus, like you rolled well, so you may have started something that's going to be more like a front, like it's going to come creeping up later, or maybe the GM tucks it in their back pocket. It'll happen someday when someday in the future. I guess what I'm going for is like the worse the roll, the sooner you have to deal with that story element, because you're often in the middle of something else, right? You're always in the middle of something else when you're playing. So having the brothers show up like on your way back to town after casting this ritual is problematic. Having them show up, a session or two later isn't, not that it's not problematic, but you've like, it didn't immediately manifest.
This is why moves are hard to write, everybody, because I don't like that either, because it's just about speed of how the impact comes instead of letting the story dictate it.
Yeah. All right.
This is why moves are hard.
Moves are hard. Moves you wind up rewriting and rewriting moves to try to hone it down. So what have we come up with so far? There's a thing that I don't think we completely agree upon that you have to do. There's a thing you get that I'm not sure we completely agreed upon you get, and there's a consequence that I don't think we've agreed upon that happens.
Yeah.
So I don't think we've gotten anything.
Correct.
Which is kind of disappointing for us to have tried to wing on the show.
We could have both written moves independently, and they probably would have just worked just fine for each of us.
Yeah. So I was hoping we would kind of assemble something a little more coherent, or at least some pieces. But I don't know. I don't feel like you are liking anything I've thrown out so far.
That's okay. You didn't like anything I threw out either, so it's fine.
So I don't know. This is a challenge for writing moves, right? Like, you figure out the thing that you want, and then you figure out how the three rolls translate that, right? 2, if you don't even want to have a 6- consequence, right? A lot of moves just don't even bother putting a 6- in.
That's a good one. Recite a painful memory and roll with int, whiz or cha. Take a debility to that stat, which cannot heal until you confront the memory and roll on what he said before.
Yeah.
That's the best version of the move I've seen all night.
Nice work, Jared.
Thanks, Jared. That's pretty much what we got.
There you go. Yay, chat room.
Yay.
Tell me about Fate.
I don't know. It's Fate.
Yeah.
I don't know. This winds up probably... I don't know, because in milestones you can change all your aspects. So it's not gonna do anything for you in terms of it's not gonna do anything in terms of changing, because at significant, the last one, the major milestone, you can change your first aspect.
All right, so in Fate, this is going to be an extra. The holiday is going to be an extra.
Sure.
So it's going to be conjunction. It's going to be because a star is rising over the night. So then there's an aspect on the table. That's what it is. Like, you need to have certain aspects on the table in order to accomplish the goal of finding out whatever because the idea is that you can then given a rare insight into your own fate, right? Well, that's easy enough, because then you just get an aspect that if all right, so you need to have the aspects of Night of the Pale Star, some kind of woe to yourself, whatever that is, that can be interpreted. Let's go back to the list. We have the where is, we need a where. Do we need a where for this one? I don't know if we need a where. We just need we just need the place and time. The who, which is yourself, because you're trying to get this ritual together for yourself. The how is this thing triggered? So you have to, what do you have to do?
No, I think if it's an extra, it's going to be kind of a ritual, right? So you're going to have to take some sort of action.
Yeah. Well, what is that action?
I don't know. Maybe a lore check. Are you talking about a narrative action, or are you talking about mechanical action?
Well, the how is how is the mechanism contributed? So is it, if it's a ritual, like are we doing lore to create advantage? Are we doing lore to overcome? Are we doing a series, or is it a complex task?
Yeah, I mean, it could be. So it could be a complex task, right? It could be more than one roll necessary to carry it off. So maybe you need to do empathy, lore, and maybe physique.
Yeah, because you have to
mental, physical.
You have to withstand the cold.
And you have to withstand the physical part, the emotional part, and you actually have to be knowledgeable enough to carry off this.
So let's get to aware then, because it's got to be cold. You have to be somewhere frigid.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it doesn't work.
In a freezer.
Yeah, because then you can do it modern. You can do it in the tundra. You can do it up on a mountain somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, a mountain might probably be the best. Well, I don't know. Yeah, would a mountain be the best place?
I don't know. It's cold.
It is
Depends
cold.
on if you have to be visible. If the pale star has to be visible to you while you're doing it. Could you do it in a large walk-in freezer in a warehouse?
Yeah, I don't think there's anything. I mean, it says the star is at its zenith. It doesn't actually say that you have to see it, right? The star is basically in position,
So
right?
you must be in a cold, uncomfortably cold environment.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's the where. Then it is a complex task because you have to do the 3 checks that you talked about.
Yeah, so it's a challenge, I think.
It's a challenge, yes. It is a challenge. So you have to do the 3 checks that you talked about, the lore check, the physique check, and the empathy check, to get in touch with your inner feelings of sadness and woe and all that, whatever that is. And then once you've done that, then it creates this aspect for you that you can carry around with you, like know your fate, that has a number of invocations on it.
Yeah, I mean, we could do that. I mean, if your fate is actually your high concept, then you could just put some aspects. You could just put in like some permanent invokes.
Yeah, that refresh every session.
Yeah. Refresh every session. Maybe they're a one-timer, like you get 3 invokes.
That is associated with your fate.
Yeah, that you.
Then you can do the thing that you talked about, like declare what your fate is. And anytime you do anything associated with that, you can spend an invoke off of that.
I mean, maybe what we do is the ritual allows you at the moment that you cast it, you can change your high concept if necessary, right? Like you can do it outside of the milestone. Like you can say like, sure, I was like, I was a cop, but after casting this ritual or somebody cast this ritual for me or whatever, I now know that I am, I'm the God Slayer or whatever. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
So, I mean, that could be an optional piece. I mean, because you can do that anyway, right? Like that doesn't, all you're doing is allowing it to happen outside of a particular milestone. And that milestone is usually the arc ending milestone.
Okay.
So, or not, it doesn't, I mean, I don't know if that matters. And then, yeah, I think it's whether it's your high concept or it's another aspect. If it's another aspect, you got to write it down. It's just, I think the only thing I would worry about adding another aspect to your character sheet is that it is now, like, you're heading into aspect bloat. You've now gone to 6 aspects instead of 5.
I wouldn't even call it an aspect. I would just call it a thing that you have on the side that you can use the invocations off of when it. I mean, it's essentially an
then
aspect.
I would just give you I would give you special tokens.
Yeah, I would. I mean, it's just this thing that you get for doing the thing, for having that power at your disposal. Like, you know your path, so therefore you have these invocations when you do anything associated with your
then
path.
if we're gonna do that,
it's like an aspect, but it's not really an aspect because you spend fate points on it. It's a thing about aspects. You can spend fate points on them.
Yeah, no.
This one you
your
can't.
Your own fate points.
Yeah. This one you can't. It just invokes.
Yeah, so you're gonna have to just write that up so that it's an aspect that you can only invoke with these tokens.
Although I'm down with changing your high concept temporarily. That works probably better. It's like more elegant in this situation. And then you just get a free invocation on it every session.
No, every session until it's achieved.
Until it's achieved.
And then.
And if you don't take a step towards achieving, if you want to put the daggery end on the back of it, if you don't take steps to achieve your fate, because you're defying your fate at that point, like you have a permanent box of stress marked off until you've actually taken a step to achieve your fate. So you can't actually ignore it then.
Mm-hmm. If every session you don't take some action.
Yeah. Then
to move closer to.
Then mark a stress box. And then keep doing that. It's like cumulative until you do, and then you can clear it.
These can't be cleared until you take some action.
Correct.
That moves you towards your
Yeah.
moves you towards your destiny.
That's interesting.
Yeah, that would
Yeah,
work.
that's good. I mean, that's like, hey, you're getting this cool thing, but you're also on a path to you're on a path to actually complete this story.
Yeah.
That would work. That would work. I would do that.
Mm-hmm. That's a good fate extra for this.
Mm-hmm.
So we've created the ritual. We've created this specifications for the ritual. You need to have X amount of these aspects in play. The location, the who, the what, the where, the why, the how. Then you need to do the challenge, right?
Mm-hmm. So let me highlight the difference between what just happened between the PBTA and the Fate one.
I'll tell you what just happened. You said a thing, and I was like, okay, it's fine. Instead of arguing with you about it, and that's okay.
All right. I had something else I was going to say about it, but that's fine. Like, I feel very disjointed tonight. Did you not like any of the things that we came up with for the Fate thing?
No, I thought it was fine.
Okay. I don't think that's why the PBTA one was hard. I think that the difference design-wise is that in Fate, you are always trying to pull from the existing toolbox of pieces and only stepping outside of it occasionally.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So we used common pieces, right? We used an aspect, an invocation, a
Sure.
challenge, like those kinds of things. The deceptive part to PBTA is
Mm-hmm.
that while it's, I'm going to write a move, like moves are really hard. Like moves have structure.
Well, moves have structure, but they also they are different depending on the game that you are playing. The end goal that you're looking for.
Right, but yeah, and moves are rule packages. Like each move is unto itself a set of rules.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas in Fate, we like Legoed a thing together by
Sure.
using a whole bunch of existing.
Did the same
stuff.
thing with D&D. Like there's a tool set that exists
Yeah.
already.
So I mean, to me, and I mean, I see this a lot when people are like, "Oh, I'm going to design a game. I'm going to go design a PBTA game," and it's like that action is deceptively harder than you think it is.
Because we both had different ideas about how to design the PBTA move.
Yeah.
And they don't jive in our design brains.
Right, and there are no common pieces to pick up from.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, all
We
you get is
we tried to pick up pieces from different moves that we were using.
right. All you get is that basic structure, right? You get the trigger a move, roll, 10 plus, 7 to 9, 6 minus, right? Like that skeleton is not like in Fate where you're picking up Legos. Like that thing's just like the formatting for how you have to write this thing. What you pack in there is really like it really matters in a lot of ways because you don't have other mechanisms that you're kind of pulling in.
It's also a super hard rules package to put together, even for all three of these, because it deals with prognostication. And prognostication is never easy to design into games.
I agree.
So,
I agree. So you kind of have to start to think about what does mechanistically, what does that look like? So Jared's solution for PBTA of giving you a handful of free 10s is certainly a way to steer your fate. It's very similar to your D20.
It's pretty much exactly what we did with every version of the move, because that's the mechanism that you use to do it.
Right. The fate one isn't a guarantee, but invokes will always get you towards a success.
Yes. Plus, when you start making it so like you have to move towards this thing, you start taking stress, then it's driving you towards it.
Yeah.
So you don't really have a choice in the matter. Otherwise, you'll die.
Now, the D&D one does not drive you.
No, it doesn't. It just gives you the thing.
It just gives you a thing, and at some point later, you can take it and say that this is your moment. I like that. I like that component enough. From the Fate one, I would actually like it in the Powered by the Apocalypse one. Like, once you understand what it is, maybe Erlis doesn't like the idea that you're going to squander it or walk away from it. Mm-hmm. Like, she granted you this rare moment of insight, and if you don't take it, like if you don't start moving towards it, it comes with its own problems.
Mm-hmm.
Because that is, for Erlis to have a merciful moment, and for somebody mortal to squander it.
That's why I like the idea of doing the thing opens up the compendium classes for you, because it's different from all the other ones.
Sure.
It doesn't you now have this option to take this new fate for yourself, but you don't have to. Mm-hmm. But now you have more options than you had before to change your fate. which is different from the other ones, which are just more like, here's a resource that you can use to alter your fate in the future.
So if you simplify that move as the move to open compendium classes, you don't actually need a roll. Not all moves actually require a roll.
Correct. That's why I was going with you do the thing.
So you tell, like, yeah, exactly. So repackaging that, let's go with the compendium class. You have to present something, and the counterbalance to that is, like you said, something will come from it.
Mm-hmm.
So you tell your tale of woe and sadness. You don't have to roll. The queen gives you insight that allows you to unlock a compendium class. The GM in a future date will bring the consequences of this trouble back upon you.
Yeah, GM makes a move off screen.
Yeah. Suddenly this thing becomes a front.
Sure.
Or, suddenly the brothers arrive in town.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's a lot of chat in the chat room. They don't like the Dark Holiday thing.
I mean,
I know. Hey, everyone, he writes the show notes. If you have feelings about it, I got his back on this one. I don't really mind. I like the Queen of Hoarfrost and Woe, so...
I mean, for me, this is the light version of the Queen of Hoarfrost and Woe.
Yeah,
right?
I'm the one that took it into the place of terribleness because I know who she is.
Right. I mean, this is her Christmas, right? Like, this is her Christmas, right? Like, she takes your sorrow and gives you a chance to change your life.
Her Christmas is like Odin's Christmas, where we're hanging entrails from Christmas trees.
Yeah. Well, our list is a little on the extreme.
So, where would you say we are on this particular topic?
Well, I think
they're clamoring for a happy holiday for us to design stuff around.
Well, we happen to have one more tucked away.
Never let it be said that we don't give to our chat room.
So before we're done, Phil decided to create a mechanism for Emily, and that is a PBTA birthday move. So celebrate your birthday. When it's time for you to celebrate your birthday, roll. On a hit, you have a wonderful time and remember the day well.
On a 10 plus, hold 3. On a 7 to 9, hold 2. Spend a hold to choose from the following.
You spend it with close friends and loved ones. You avoid any drama. You get a cool present, describe what it is. You gain some insight that gives you hope or resolve for the coming year. You have delicious food and cake.
On a 6 minus, you may pick one from the list above. The GM will pick one from the list that did not come true, and then we'll make a move.
Happy birthday, Emily.
Happy birthday.
I don't think she's here.
I know. I think she's going to listen because we record this show.
That's true. We do record
You don't
the show.
have to listen to it live. Yeah. She can listen to it later.
And for the rest of you, this is our segment on how to mechanize festivals and holidays.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Our dark holidays.
Yeah.
Next time I'll do a light and cheerful one to match my light and cheerful soul.
His soul's black. Completely and totally black.
My heart is black.
Little bits of red in there.
Oh man!
So we're gonna hit up the chat room for any last minute words, and then get moving on to the next.
Apparently, I'm not supposed to write any more dark holidays.
I love
that holiday.
I thought it was good.
I love that.
Hey man, they all love the D&D thing.
As far as dark holidays go, it was a good holiday.
That write up could have been on Discern Reality.
They just don't like when we yell at each other.
No, that's definitely true.
Hey, design isn't always fun, and design isn't always pretty.
No,
there have been more times the three of us have looked at each other in frustration and been like, nope, it's not that, it's this thing, or nope, it's not that, it's this thing, and struggled and struggled and struggled.
Yeah. Jared Rasher's been killing it tonight in the chat room. He said earlier, make a check to breathe in a manner to let the frost hang so that you can see the face of the goddess in your breath.
That's good.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah, that's good.
That's good flavor.
And he followed it up a little later with, is this the holiday where we inflict harm on ourselves or the one where we don't eat and freeze ourselves? I like the inflicting harm day more than no food and freezing.
Either one. Either
you
way.
can totally inflict harm on yourself. That is a legit
You can go either way. I mean, technically, sitting in the snow for an hour and praying is inflicting harm on yourself.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We had
naked, by the way.
Yes, definitely with the naked because then it's colder. Rob said earlier, imagine finding in a dungeon a small clear flask with a single crystal tear inside. And Jared tacked onto that, the tear belonged to a wizard that became a lich, and they were too proud to swallow their own tear. Now, if you track it down, you might get a glimpse of their fate to help defeat them.
Oh, that's cool.
Crap, this is a fun thing to riff on. And then Rob said, the lich's tear even sounds like a badass module.
Yeah, it does.
Chris, you should get writing that.
Yeah, I should totally get writing
You
that.
should totally get writing the Lich's
I
tier.
write down the Lich's tier because I have so much free time right now.
Yeah.
That is a badass module. Or you could recover the Lich. If you can convince the Lich to swallow the tier,
There
it
you
would
go.
There you
save
go.
them.
Rob dropped one in here just now too. The dark holiday of watching the sausage made.
Oh, that should be the name of this episode.
Yeah, right.
Listen,
Oh,
I mean, it's
Oh,
funny
man.
because I don't know if people know that, but like, this is like when you don't design alone, like this is the shit that happens.
Yep.
Like
Collaboration can be good, and collaboration can
collaboration's always good. It's just that collaboration isn't always cheerful or fun.
Not always pretty.
It's not pretty.
Sometimes it's ugly.
And I don't take it personally, right?
No.
Like, I'm not mad at Chris. Like, we struggled through that thing. Like, we were on different pages. We weren't quite in the same place for it. It's the kind of thing that we would have walked away from. We would have come back to it like a couple days later when one of us had an idea and would have been like, what do you think of this thing? You know, oh, okay, I like
Yeah,
it.
well, the thing is what we didn't have was we didn't have a move written to work from.
Yeah. I mean, I was like,
Usually
I
what-
mean, this was my fault because I was like, oh, we're going to make this shit up on the fly.
You want to? I mean, the Fate one was easy. We should have done the Power by the Apocalypse one last, but that's fine.
No,
big
actually,
deal.
I'm kind of beat wise. I'm kind of happier we ended with the Fate one, because the Fate one was like, oh, we assembled it. It looks, it's good. You know, I don't know. I mean, I will say this. I think that when people are like, oh, like I'm totally making a Powered by Apocalypse game. It's so easy.
No,
like,
it's not.
It's not easy. Moves are hard.
Moves are hard.
Yeah. Moves are.
That's why I haven't written one yet.
Yeah, I mean, I've written one, and some of those moves I've written like 7 times. Like, I just like pour over them, and I don't like it.
Yep.
Hell, I went and wrote my own game instead of doing a Power by the Apocalypse game. Like it's not.
There you go.
It's not easy. It's.
Yeah.
I've tried a few times. It's not easy at all.
Kids, if there's a lesson, Powered by the Apocalypse sounds easy, but designing it's way harder.
It's accurate.
Yeah.
Somebody ask Kate Bullock, man. She's been working on
yeah.
Crossroads for forever
Yeah.
and rewritten the moves 1,000
I mean,
times.
Mark's been working on Cartel
for like 3 years.
Yeah.
Read a whole bunch of different Powered by the Apocalypse games and see
You know,
how it's all done.
I used to say that designing Power by the Apocalypse was like Design 101. It is not. No, it's not. Like Fate, design for Fate is like Design 101.
Yeah, I mean, it's literally like if you look at the toolkit, it's like Lego.
Yeah.
Right? Like you just like,
You're
I'm sticking
snapping
parts
pieces
together.
together, yeah.
Snap parts on. Like
Right. In fact, if you notice, we didn't write a Powered by the Apocalypse game. The first big thing we did was a Fate conversion.
the first couple of big things that we've
Yeah.
done are Fate conversion type
Right.
stuff.
It is.
Heck, Hydro Hackers was a Fate game at first.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, it's deceptively harder than it looks. And it's a thing. Like, it's just, it's a thing. Can I tell you a really, really dark secret?
Sure.
There are times where I think Hydro Hackers would be even better in a different system, but I literally want to shoot myself for thinking about that.
Yeah, you should just shoot yourself for thinking about that. We'll do it
you
later.
don't wanna-
Do you know
after
which game it is?
what?
Blades.
You're not probably wrong.
The turf as the neighborhood.
Yeah, I mean, I
The
feel you.
score mechanism
Finish the
for-
finish the Power by the Apocalypse one. Then we'll do the Blades conversion. It's fine.
Just throw out all my fucking moves. And
No,
just,
don't do that. I mean, it's already done. So we'll just
I know.
we can
not-
always do a Blades version of it later
We can.
in the same world.
Yeah.
We can. We totally can.
It'll be a different game slightly, and it'll still play. It'll be great. All right.
So,
Anyways, we should probably move on.
is that Senda yelling at me?
So it's the social media depository where we're talking about things that are social media wise. So first, current Kickstarters. Backstory Cards Volume 2 is going on right now. I love me some backstory cards. They're great. They're useful for all sorts of things. Phil, you use them at the table all the time.
I have a set. I have not fielded them in a little while.
Oh, that's
I
right. It's been a
really like
while.
'em.
Bob, you love them too, don't you?
I haven't used mine, but I love it. Like, I love them, and
I've
I
seen-
love when people use them.
I've seen them on the table more than
Yeah.
like just once or
Are
twice.
you thinking of my other set of cards?
Which ones are
You're
those?
thinking of his.
Something Heroes.
Oh, maybe I was
Yeah.
thinking of those.
The backstory ones are the ones that have like all these cool questions.
Ah.
They basically create bonds. They're really cool, and I have the first set in the Cyberpunk.
See, I guess it's funny. Like I think these things are cool, right? I think they're
Short
awesome.
order
They're,
heroes.
yeah, short order heroes. These are fascinating and they're really good for inspiration. But if you listen to me, Bob, and Phil earlier doing our build for the characters for the sequence game that we're going to play,
Right.
we don't need stuff like that. I mean, we can.
It's cool. Like, I mean, I could read a question on a card and come up with an evocative answer.
Sure.
But, we're also.
We all just sat around and asked each other questions and came up with like a complete and total new world,
Yeah.
like out
Yeah.
of nowhere.
But I will say, I actually do love this Kickstarter because I own the first set of cards and I really dig them. But yeah, the ones you were thinking, the short order heroes, that's the one I use for personalities.
Yeah.
I love those cards.
Those things are great.
Yeah, those
Yeah.
are great.
Very effective. So what do these things do? It's been a while, I guess, since I've seen backstory cards. They have questions on them to help you spurn ideas.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So there you go. That is.
But they're definitely they are definitely cool. I'm trying to remember. Are there different genres that are coming with this one? Because there were several different genres that came out. The last time.
So there's like a core deck, and then there's a genre expansion.
Yes.
That looks like a thing that's coming. So that's what's going on with the backstory cards, and then there's even a expansion number 3, which has more stuff inside of it. That is it's a toolkit that is there to help you create your own setting grids. So I don't know what these setting grids even are.
Oh, I think that's the way you use the cards, if I remember correctly.
Oh, how you lay them down and then they get organized.
Kind of like a tarot reading.
I figured you guys would be able to tell me what these cards did because I couldn't remember. But
Hey,
apparently
Bob,
not.
you backed this one, right?
I did not yet.
Okay.
I put it on my watch list because it's like $25 for the physical copy, not counting shipping. And I want to wait until closer to the end to see where the finances are because I've got 9 open Kickstarters right now.
Oof.
Yeah, so like if you look, you can't click on the picture. I was gonna zoom in on this picture. So like, yeah, here's one. Like, you and a PC yearn to be together, but group works to keep you apart. What are they doing to accomplish that?
Oh, that's interesting.
Right, like they're like bonds.
Oh, I hit the mic stand,
You hit
hand in my
mic,
hand.
So I like
Panda
them.
rules on here.
I like them because they are they're kind of structured like bonds.
Yeah.
And if you're playing a game that doesn't have the kind of thing that immediately generates hooks between characters, so like you're playing I don't know, anything that's not a PBTA game or a Fate game, right? Because Fate games bake it in.
Yeah.
PBTA bakes it in. But
which means we all bake it into our games regardless of what game we're
right,
playing.
like Tales is interesting. Like Tales from the Loop. Tales has a thing where it bonds you to an NPC in the game.
Yeah.
But we had to come up on our own with the connections for the kids.
Yeah.
This is a place where these cards would you could play them in.
So if that's a hole in your game, you have a hard time with that stuff, these are great cards to have then.
Yeah, and the way the grid thing works, Jerry was just touching on parts of it. You'll put out cards and they'll be in a layout and there'll be arrows and numbers. So it'll be the player 2 to your left is the person that you have this connection with and stuff like that.
Yeah, back when you were together with PC or individual, place meant a lot to both of you. What's special about it? After breaking up, which of you claimed it for yourself? Right? Those are cool.
Yeah, they're cool.
It's a very cool resource. That, the short order heroes, and the It's Not My Fault cards can even be used as just Kickstarters for Kickstarters. Things to jumpstart your mind to come up with things.
Yeah, short order heroes fills in a thing for me when I need to give an NPC a personality and I don't want to just stick to my default set of ideas.
Yeah.
They were going to have a second Kickstarter. I backed it and I don't think it funded. I was very sad. I was like, I would totally get more of these cards. All
right, next thing. And
Yes.
Hype Alert. Kira Magran. Is that how you pronounce her last name? Magran. A fellow gnome.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Hype Alert. She's going to be playtesting her non-violent activist feels-focused cyberpunk game Sync on Twitch on Sunday.
Which, by the time people
Hear this, it'll
that's
be
gonna
over. But
already
you folks in the
happen,
chat
but-
room,
Yeah.
if you want to see how this PBTA game is shaping up, plug in your HUD and roll your Be Vulnerable. And she's playing with Sean Nittner, Andy Karen 12s. And I imagine since it's being on Twitch, it'll be on YouTube after that. So
I hope so, because 1:00 on Sunday is an hour before the QCC kickoff party.
Yeah. So we won't. Yeah, we'll be
And I
busy.
kind of wanted to go to the kickoff party, so
Well, we are kind of supposed to be at the kickoff party running games and such. All right. Well,
That's a thing.
That's a thing, and that's kind of our. Oh yeah, she's also got the April RPG TT RPG Maker thing going on Twitter.
Come on, she knocked it out of the
She
park.
crushed it. It's been fun.
So many people are jumping on.
Yeah, it's a good time.
I love it. I've been enjoying it myself.
I caught up on day 2 and day 3 today.
I did my day 3 today.
Yep, I did my day 3 as well.
And Suicide Pixie's in there. That's Effie. Let's see. So that's it, right? That's a show. We're going to do some Patreon shout-outs real quick.
Sure.
That is
Here we
a
go.
show.
Check it out. JJ Lanza, Ben Wilson, James Sweetland, Jen Pixelscape Scan, Brandon Barnes, Colin Brook, Troy Sandlin, Blake Ryan, Batman, Corey Johnston, The Mad Wizard Merwin, Zach Goins, Christopher Gray, Robert Dorgan, Miko Froelich, Andrew Dacey, Tabletop Gaming Deals, Wayne Peterson, Effie Matson, that is the Suicide Pixie, the Old School DM Randy Farmer, Kevin Menorzak, John Carney, Xavier A. Devengos. I think I said it right that time, Xavier. I think I got it right. Victor Wyatt, Garrett Cologne, Eric Simon, Eric Meng. It's Eric Meng, by the way. I heard you guys having a hard time with that name earlier.
You totally butchered it.
Sean B. Kelly, Sean Kelly, Chris Steele. You want to do Chris
Steele?
Thank you very much. Ryan Boltier, who's finally in the chat room for life, the Slack room for life. Like, he just showed up finally after
awesome.
Yeah. PK Sullivan, Brett, not Brett B, just Brett. I'm not sure which Brett that is, but Brett. Thank you, Brett. The Rainmaker, Dennis Malloy, Camden, right? Who was in the chat room? He's in the chat room, yeah. And Richard Ruane. Thank you so much for being our patrons. Is there anything else in the chat room before we get out of here?
Just one more thing. Jared was paging through the Midgard World Book, and he found the Bear Kings Challenge Festival, which he would love to use sometime. Every year, there's a different strength-based challenge, and if you win, you get crowned King of Bears for that year, and you might even get to change into a bear folk.
Sweet.
That's cool. I can dig it.
The thing with the thing.
I keep thinking of a move for bathtub drunk. When you are celebrating a holiday and alcohol is involved, roll plus con.
Roll plus con.
On a 10 plus, you have a really good
I
time.
think you should roll plus wisdom.
And you're just hungover the next day. Oh, yeah, roll plus wisdom. On a 10 plus, you have a really good time. You're just hungover the next day. On a 7 and 9, you got really drunk, but not so drunk that you can't remember what happened. On a 6 minus, you ended up in the bathtub.
All right, so to modify that, on a 7 to 9, on the 7 to 9, pick one of these that did not happen.
Yeah.
You took off all your clothes.
Yep.
You slept in the bathtub. You got really sick. And then on a 6 minus, the GM will pick one that didn't come true.
Or all three came true.
All three come true.
Yeah, that's probably better. That's
See,
good.
kids, we can actually make a move together.
Yeah, we can. That one actually works pretty effectively. That's
boy.
when you drink excessively.
Yes.
When you drink excessively.
Roll plus wits.
So there's actually something positive that goes along with that. When you drink excessively, roll plus whiz. On a hit,
There you go.
you learn the answer to a question that you've been burning to know. On a 10 plus, on a 7 to 9, on a 6 minus.
Yeah.
There you go.
There you go.
Got it. All right.
Nailed it.
Well, thank you everyone so much for listening.
If you are free Tuesday evenings, 8:45 p.m. Eastern, 6:45 p.m. the Queen's Time, come join us live on Twitch, where you can chat with other listeners in the awesome chat room for life and ask us the occasional question.
If you cannot make it to the live show, check out our podcast each week wherever you get your podcasts, and take a listen to some of the other shows in the Misdirected Mark Network, such as Down with D&D, Avenged, Inside Bloodstone, Obsidian, Pandas Talking Games, Cypher Speak with Darcy and Troy, the Gnomecast, the Wednesday Game Podcast, also Zhang Yu Hustle, Hobbs and Friends of the OSR, and our newest member, She's a Super Geek. You can and should also check out some of our brother and sister podcasts, The Knights of the Night, and the Always Amazing Gaming and BS.
Yeah. Whew. Then, after you have designed all your mechanisms for your holidays, you can leave us some feedback. Reach us directly by email, mmp@misdirectedmark.com.
Woo.
Just send whatever you want. Chris will figure out who it goes to.
Yep.
Check out our Facebook group. Hit us up on Twitter. The show, the network, is at MisdirectedMark. I'm at DNA Phil. He's at Robert M. Everson. And as always, this one is the Light 101.
Woo!
And then, finally, go to the 10 plus of our social media empire, our G plus community.
If you like what we do here and on the other shows in the Misdirected Mark Network, you can support our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/MMP. Patrons get access to the after show, pre-production show notes, musical parodies, the Pandas Talking Games bonus outtakes, and other special releases.
Point of clarification.
No.
This Patreon is only for this show, Down with D&D, and Pandas Talking Games. if you want to support other shows in Misdirected Mark Productions, there's a Patreon for Hobbs and Friends of the OSR. There's a Patreon for Zhang Yu Hustle. There's a Patreon for She's a Super Geek.
Yep.
I highly suggest that you go and check all of those Patreons out.
We should update our template.
We should update our template. I plan on us updating our template, but please go and back those other shows because they all have different rewards. You get all sorts of different things for them. Although I'm pretty sure I'm going to talk to the other hosts, and we will combine that whole. If you were backing at X amount of dollars, you get to get in the Slack room
No,
for every one of the shows.
I feel like there should be like a mega hustler tier. Like if you're backing more than just one of these, like we'll find you. We'll get you something.
we could do that.
By the way, I don't think we unofficially talked about this, but I will say it because I said it on Pandas. Our patrons will get the print and play version of Whirlwind Millionaire.
Yep, just because.
Just because we love you guys.
Not our patrons, our $10 patrons.
Our $10 patrons.
$10
Our $10 patrons are going to
Just get it.
Just going to get it.
Yep.
Just going to send you the PDF, not the cards, the print and play.
Mm-hmm.
If you like it and want to get the cards, that's on you.
Patreon Voltron.
Yeah, Patreon Voltron. That's a thing.
Totally.
By the way, the Gnome Stew, or not the Gnome Stew, the Gnomecast, one of our shows. Rob Abrazato is the editor for that show, and we just
Killed
had
it last
episode
week,
21, which was the April Fool's episode. Please go listen to it. It is hilarious, and Rob did a wonderful job editing. Unfortunately, he got killed,
Oops.
but he's still alive, so it's okay. There's reasons for that.
The stew will bring you back.
I also got murdered, but I don't remember that.
It's like the comic books. No one's ever really
No one's ever
dead.
really dead. Anyways, this has been a Misdirected Mark production, which is the media arm of Encoded Designs. A mic drop.
We out.
Do 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 do.
Welcome to the after show.
The after show.
The after show.
Man, we're getting good at that.
We are
Design
getting
is
good at
hard.
And then design's tricky.
Yeah.
Collaboration is hard.
Like
Apparently,
we don't do Powered by the Apocalypse together all that often.
No.
We do Fate all the time together.
Yeah.
Like that's easier lift for us.
Yeah, it's a lot easier lift.
Apparently-
Power of the Apocalypse is hard.
We also don't like you said, man. Moves are super finicky because you're not
Yeah.
you're not like Legoing it together.
No.
You're building it a whole cloth.
Yes.
Because there's the 10 plus 7 and 9 6 minus, but then there's like, okay, what's the theme of your move?
Yeah. What is this move trying to do?
Yeah,
First.
because everything else that we've designed within, especially Fate, because that's the one we did together. The things do a certain thing. Like we know what an aspect does.
Yeah.
bless you.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We know when something needs to be an extra.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Like it was super easy. Like this is an extra, right? Absolutely.
Yeah. Or like when we did part-time gods, like we looked at the powers and we were like, those are skills.
Yes.
Like
they
those-
should be a set of skills.
Yeah, those should be skills because they have.
One, they
you
were
know,
skills in the other game.
Yes,
And
and we were
they
like,
can totally
they
be a
should
skill.
still be skills.
And it was weird because we have two different skill sets in that game, but it was fine because we have the mortal and the divine
that
skills.
was that was the fun part, right? Like
Yeah.
that was the part we put on the game was splitting the
splitting.
two.
Well, I mean, that game demanded that we do that
Yes.
for the most part. Like it was supposed to be one half divine, one half not divine.
Yeah, I mean, this is a thing. Like when you design Powered by the Apocalypse moves, like you wrestle with it constantly. Like, first of all, what is this move doing? And then is it really doing what you think it's doing when you give out the chunks to it?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and then the other part is like, is it too much like another move?
It doesn't matter. I mean, you mean another move within the same game.
Yeah, you don't
Oh, it doesn't
Yeah.
matter if it's like another move in another
Yeah.
book because
Yeah.
you can. Somebody could scholarly take a whole bunch of the PBTA games and actually draw a genealogy chart from Apocalypse World outward to find where all the because there are GM moves and other moves that wind up drifting between game to game.
Yeah. So Angela said something interesting. She's like, I always worry that I'm running PBTA wrong because there are times when I look at a move and say, crap, none of these work. Fuck it, roll this. And I grab a hammer and slam that square peg into a round hole. Now, there's a thing with PBTA. You should always look for the move in your game that is the defy danger of your game.
Yeah. It's in Hydra Hackers. It's called. Let me think. Wait, in Apocalypse World, it's Act Under Fire.
Yep.
It's Defy Danger. It's oh shit, I don't even remember from my own game. Hang on, you keep talking. I'll go find it.
Yeah. In Masks, there was one that was in There wasn't one that was in Masks.
Unleash your powers.
Unleash your powers. Yeah. So.
But that wasn't really.
Anytime you were going to do something with your powers that didn't really fit
then you just roll Unleash your powers. Anytime you try to do anything not with your powers, usually it didn't. There wasn't a move for it, so you just talked through it, or it didn't work. That was kind of a thing that was implied in the game. That game was about drama anyway, for the most part.
Yeah, but there's almost always when you're looking. God, Phil, there it is, the move sheet.
There's
Where's is it? In Harm's Way.
In Harm's Way.
In Harm's
okay.
Way is mine. And the way you always find this move, it is almost always the move that every stat could possibly trigger the move.
Uh-huh.
Like in Dungeon World, it has it.
It doesn't have it in every game though.
No, not in every one, but a lot of times it's
Urban Shadows. It was roll with cool.
yeah.
Because the roll with cool, that was the one to escape a situation. There was like, yeah.
In Defy Danger uses multiple stats.
Yeah, because that's based on the fiction.
Right. In Harm's Way, I basically did the exact same thing. Like in Harm's Way is Defy Danger.
Yeah. So
a
apparently we needed to have a talk with Darcy because she's been running, or at least tonight for the first time. I don't know if she's done it multiple times, but she ran a Monty Cook Games stream.
Counter to ours?
Counter to ours.
No, that's
Darcy.
Yeah, I know. They play that. The Raven game is tonight.
Oh well, there's no combating
or
that.
is she running her Numenera game tonight? It's one or the other. I forget why.
I mean, we're not moving.
No.
I love Darcy, but we've been here for a while.
Yeah, I mean that'll be over at some point.
We'll
One Shot also does stream on Tuesdays.
It was
So it's Numenera. That's a thing, you know.
Yeah, it's a thing.
A lot of people run their stream on Tuesday nights.
Apparently
Pandas.
Tuesday's a good stream night.
Pandas
Apparently.
Talking Gods.
Yeah. Part-time
Apparently.
Gods and Pandas Talking Games have the same initials.
It's true.
I've always known that,
Yeah.
right? That's
Yeah,
always
me
been
too.
a-
It's always thrown me off too. I'm like, are they talking about Pandas Talking Games or part-time guys?
I mean, it used to just be Talking Games until we found the other Talking Games podcast.
Yeah.
And had to.
I thought it was all because it was Project Panda at first and people couldn't differentiate. They
All
couldn't
right, so here's-
separate themselves from
Well,
it.
here's what happened. It was Project Panda when we didn't have a name. Then we came up with the name Talking Games. But then we didn't do any serious internet searches to look for other podcasts with the name Talking Games. Then when we were at Gen Con, people kept coming up to us and being like, oh, I love your show. I love your show. And it was like, nope, this is way too many people to have been listening to our show.
Yeah.
So we did some Googling and we were like, well, shit.
What's up?
Just for giggles, I couldn't remember if the T in time, because of the hyphen, if he had capitalized it. So I just Googled it. And on the right-hand side, see results about Part-Time Gods of Fate, 3EG204, parentheses, book by Bob Everson, comma, ... Google listed my name first.
It might be because your last name is E.
Well, then below that, it's originally
No, it should
published.
be Arcadian was on the
It
front.
says
No,
originally
wasn't.
published July 10th, 2015, and then it has authors Sean Merwin, Chris Sneezak, Bob Everson.
Where's Phil?
It's not on the short blurb.
Oh.
Phil should absolutely be in there. There he is.
Meh.
Now, this is on this one, it
least
says
it's not
Bob
like-
Everson, Chris Sneezak, Phil Vecchione, and Sean Merwin.
At least it's not like Merwin where he wrote the book and didn't get his name on the cover, and then
Oh,
people
man.
told him he couldn't actually have his name on the book
That just blew me away. I saw my name
in all the
next to a
publications.
thing.
It's funny.
That's crazy.
Yeah, like the Lounge is a terrible name for a role playing game podcast. There's, you know how many podcasts are named the
They call
Lounge?
the lounge. Yeah.
Yeah, I made a mistake there. I mean, I've been calling it the Lounge for forever, right?
It's too bad. We're keeping it.
Yeah, I've been calling it the Lounge for like years. That's the thing.
The board game one with pandas, we've met those people. And I think our podcast is older than theirs.
Yeah.
I think, yeah. The other thing that messes people up is that Panda is short for Phil and Senda. And that's why there's an apostrophe.
You know, Mo Tusino pitched me a board game podcast for Misdirected Mark Productions.
Yeah, well, I would love us to have a board game podcast.
Yeah, Sunday, you should get on that. He's in the chat room with you. You should totally talk him into it.
I did not see the thing where some douche bro told Anna Kreider she didn't write the watch.
Well, that's funny.
Oof.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
How did he...
It's a conscious effort because literally her name is on the cover, but it's not first. So he picked the guy's name.
Of course, because Meridos
And went with the
Meridos
guy's
co-designed
name.
it.
Yeah.
But she literally...
Did he
like,
actively say that she was... Did he actively...
He said written by... This game by this guy's name. and ignored the fact that.
Put your hands on your
I
head.
hit Chris's mic.
Put your hands on your head. Panda rules.
All right, well, hang on, because
it's a
I'm
thing.
going to soften.
Not on that head, Bob. Not
I'm
going
going
to
to soften Senda's all caps sentence here.
I got my hands on my head.
to the actual thing. Did he actively say no, you didn't write it, or did he just not acknowledge?
He did not
that she
acknowledge
wrote
it.
Okay, well that's dickish.
Yeah.
When confronted with the truth, did he deny it or did he correct it?
That I don't know. I didn't go deep down into that rabbit hole.
All right, because sometimes people make mistakes.
Apparently, he actively told her she was not involved.
Oh, well, then that's it.
Well, that's
Then he's
dickish.
just a dick.
Yeah. If her name's on the fucking book, how is she not involved?
I don't know.
Everybody in the fucking world knows Anna Kreider's involved on it. Well,
I-
apparently not this douchebag.
Apparently not that person.
Where's that dude? I want to tweet him. And be like, I'm just going to tweet him and just say she totally
Just
is.
somebody take a picture of the book and circle her name and be
Yeah.
like, "Hey, yo, what's up?"
Right. Where did you think the word Kreider came from?
Yeah.
That's funny.
What?
Yep.
What's what we want to talk about, guys?
Well,
We
I kind of now want to know a
yeah,
little bit.
I feel you, but we got 15 minutes before we
I
do.
know, but I want to like go. I just want to go like
I
terrorize
mean,
somebody.
yeah, that's fair.
We've stirred the beast.
I mean, we could just stop for the night.
No, I'm just saying. Like I just like I feel like I
Doc Palindrome is right. Ignoring facts is kind of a thing these days, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I mean, we should just chastise.
not
these
a
people.
good thing. Like
Once they become ignorant, we should chastise them.
Yeah, I mean, you need to be
Hey,
called-
hey, look at the cover.
yeah, like you need to be called out on that.
Yeah, I mean,
It
I
is
feel like-
one. It is one thing. It is one thing to be like, oh shit, I'm sorry, I forgot to put both authors on the thing. Quick correction to my blog post, to my tweet,
Yeah.
whatever. Like, so sorry.
It's that simple.
I mean, there is a place where you can be like, my bad, I'm so very sorry, and I'm even more sorry that I actually left the female author of a game that is literally about, toxic masculinity,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Like, anyway, I like to try to think of positive intent,
Yeah.
right? Like, I wanted to think, like, maybe this guy just made a mistake.
Nope.
But douchebaggery is douchebaggery.
Yeah, Mo Tusino just said somebody, some dudes at Breakout told his wife that she couldn't play a game with him.
Oh,
It
I
was
heard
too
that.
complicated.
Yeah, that one
I mean, Breakout handled it super well
Yeah.
and dealt with the situation, but that was kind of shitty.
But it is shitty, and I'm glad that Breakout did something about
Huh.
it.
Need to
it's the
keep
way it should be.
weeding those people out.
I mean, oh God, look, it's 2018.
Yeah.
If you think a woman can't play a game because it's complicated, what the fuck?
Or if you think a woman can't actually write a game, you know what?
I just like I'm having trouble believing that. I mean,
Women can write
it's
a lot of
true.
stuff.
I mean, it's true that this stuff exists because these stories just keep happening. But I find it really hard at 2018. Like this is shit like that movies in the 80s dealt with, right? Like this is like 9 to 5 shit. Like this is like,
No, I mean,
fuck, it just it's
I hope
so stupid.
I hope that
30
everybody.
years later.
I hope everybody piled on that guy.
Seriously.
Oh, they did. The Twitters were all. up
Does
in
he
arms.
does he still have
Oh, there it is.
does he still have his Twitter account open?
I don't know.
Oh, here we go. Thanks. Oh, Wonder Geek. I think I know this person, or at least know of them. All right, hang on.
Yeah, women have written some crazy awesome stuff. I mean,
Oh,
for
Wonder
crying out loud.
Geek's not the Wonder Geek's not the person who did it.
Yeah, well, because Wonder Geek is Anna Kreider,
Okay,
isn't it? I'm pretty sure it is.
yeah, it could be.
Yeah, it's interesting. Here, I'm just gonna read this thing since I pulled it up.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, buckle up because some dude on a major game forum just doubled down on his misattribution of the watch as being a game run by Andrew Meridos, though through the Peach Pants press label because his name was listed first and the Kickstarter was run through his account. First, while I shouldn't have to defend my participation in my own fucking game, Drew and I were 50-50 design partners. While I took the lead in organizing playtests, 100% of the game text was written by me and I did the majority of the Kickstarter planning. But yeah, his name is first on the cover and his Kickstarter is the one we ran it through. Because if you thought for a second that a game fronted by a not dude about women and non-binary for smashing patriarchy would be a commercial success, you have not been paying attention. The Kickstarter for the watch, a weird super political game about patriarchy and gender politics raised 5 times what my previous Kickstarter did, and it was a love letter to anime and JRPGs, which is way more commercially viable. But thanks for proving the whole goddamn point behind us making that decision by insisting that I am not a legitimate co-author of a game about patriarchy and crediting only my male co-author. Super looking forward to having the credit for my next game, which is going to be published through a male-fronted publishing company stolen by a dude when this one is 100% written by me. Okay.
Yep.
I know, but I want the link.
It was. I mean, I don't know which major
game forum. I can think of two.
RPG Net or
it's Big Purple or it's EN
or Emerald.
It's one of the two.
Yep.
I mean, neither is a place I hang out.
Yeah, I thought Wonder Geek was Anna. I was pretty sure it was.
So yeah, that's a thing.
For fuck's sake.
I wish you would have told us where it happened so we could all just go there and be like, yo.
Oh my god, I would love to just pile on
bro.
to that. Yeah, hey bro, you're so fucking wrong. It's unbelievable.
Hey bro, she wrote this game. Might as well just credit her
Guys
as she's
out there.
properly due, dick.
Yeah.
Stop
Man.
being douchey guys.
You know what?
I
You
wanna
know
go
what
there and
you're
be
falling
like-
on?
I know.
You're falling on deaf
This
ears.
crowd knows.
This
I
crowd.
just want
This
to
crowd
go
knows.
there and be like, hey, you didn't write this article apparently.
Yeah.
Right? Like, why not?
Ugh. The fuck. Dudes, right?
Oh, man.
Fucking dudes, man. Fucking dudes ruining it for the rest of us.
Just people. People being assholes. But yeah, dudes.
dudes. I want like one more gender bucket so I can throw those guys in something that's like not me.
I feel you.
There's men and then there's complete douche bros.
It's fucking hard, man.
This has been your moment of
every one of those dudes is
toxic
just fucking it up for
masculinity
the rest
being
of us.
smacked around.
That's fucking ridiculous. That shit annoys me. And you know what? I'm gonna give her credit. Like, she didn't call out the board. She took the high road and just talked about it.
She voiced her displeasure with it, and
oh man,
that was all.
I would social barbarian all over that thing. Just
social justice barbarian.
just fucking go stomping in there. Wrong. Ugh. Seriously.
So, what do we want to talk about that's less
God, anything
terrible
cheerful?
than that?
I mean, when is Bob joining Strike Force?
So, everybody, we're playing this game called Strike Force, Marvel Strike Force. We have an alliance, the Rust Belt Avengers.
Oh,
if
we
anybody
need
would
some-
like to
we need
join
some
us,
other
we could
Avengers,
use some
man.
help. We'd love
There is no
your-
team with two Avengers.
your help.
Right now we're a Marvel team up.
It's Marvel 2-in-1.
We're Power Fist and Power Fist and Iron.
Power Fist and Iron Man. That's
Yeah.
what you said earlier.
Yeah, it is.
I had to correct him in the chat.
I saw
No,
that.
he meant Power Man and
Iron Fist and Power Man.
I don't think Power Fist is a superhero.
That's funny.
Jerry just
signed up. He'll be level 20 in like 5 seconds.
And you'll have
And
Glenn
Glenn's
soon.
coming.
Glenn's coming, yes.
Yeah.
And you'll probably
Steve's
have
working.
Sean
Steve's
soon,
working on it.
Yeah.
because Sean won't be able to resist
We need an epic crossover event. An epic crossover event like,
to take on Rob's group.
Is
Can
that-
you do that?
Does Rob have a group?
I think, I don't know if we're talking about. Oh,
Sullivan
look,
has one.
Oh, that was Sullivan PK.
looks like Mo's in now too. You just installed it.
Yes. It's a fun game. I mean, listen, it's an app game.
GM Gerrymander
Jerry.
doing his thing as the Lord of the After Show. Oh man, Power Fist is all about consensual edge play.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
just happened.
That's right.
I love it. What are we crossing over, Rob? Rob said we need an epic crossover event. Like, I mean, we've been sort of like crossing over constantly lately. Like the Gnome cast, like had like every gnome, like a good chunk of the gnomes in it. I was on Sasky because the DJ.
Oh, Doc's installing it.
Geez, here we go.
Doc's installing
Good
now.
job, Doc. You're not going to be
What other
disappointed.
crossover stuff? Like Rob was on Gnomecast 21. It was kind of cool. Like it was.
That's
neat.
awesome.
Yeah.
Rob's
You're all a bunch of sheep. Sheep, I tell you.
It's
they're
called-
all going to have fun. We're
It's
all going to
called
have fun
Marvel
without you.
Strike Force. Marvel Strike Force.
Yep. It's wicked. It is wicked comic fun.
You want some wood for your sheep?
Oh man! Apparently, we don't get a team affiliation until we have at least 3 people, according to Marvel Heroic Role Playing. But I don't want to pay attention to that game because it's dead. It's a dead game. I don't think we have to listen to dead games, right?
Marvel Heroic?
Yeah,
No, man. It only counts if somebody pays for their license up.
that's right. That's right. Oh,
It's
that's
fucking
so mean.
harsh. It's harsh. Oh, secret tip. If you are going to play Marvel Strike Force, bite the bullet and hook it up to Facebook.
Yeah, because you get Daredevil.
You get Daredevil.
And he doesn't suck.
And he does not suck.
I got to tie something to my Facebook account, which I'd rather delete completely.
I know, but you get... are you signing up?
No.
Well, then
You
who
just said-
cares?
then why are you crying
I'm
about
saying
it?
even if I joined to get a cool character, I would have to do that.
Yeah. I will say this. I actually was playing it and having so much fun with it that I spent $10 the opening weekend or whatever, and I bought Cap, and I like Cap a lot. I don't know if he's not necessarily the strongest character, but
Dude, he
doesn't
actually
suck.
hits hard for a defender. Holy Lord.
He hits hard for a defender. That shield throw can hit up to 3 targets, which I have used to clear out some scrubs before. Yeah, I like him.
Yes, Bob Everson, join please so that this passes faster. Senda is not a
Never.
The queen is not amused.
Senda has heard a lot about this game in the last 4 or 5
So it was
days.
really fun when you came over and you got to nerd out about it for a little while, huh?
Uh-huh.
Sender should also know something else about me that some people already know, but some people don't know. And here's the thing, little tip for you people in the chat room. The more people badger me to do
won't
something,
do it.
the more I dig my heels in and defy. I hate being pushed.
I know.
So if everybody just kind of walked away and was like, yeah, whatever, who cares?
I know. That's how.
Then, in another month or two, I might go, oh, maybe I'll give it a try.
Jared said he was only making a joke, a bad joke about affiliations in the game that only have 2 people. I was making a joke about a dead game. So
Jerry brings up actually my two favorite versions of Marvel, Face Rip and Saga.
Saga was good.
Saga's genius, and I know Ange loves that game too.
I would play Face Rip any day of the week.
Face Rip's a fun system.
I've never actually played Face Rip.
Oh,
I've seen it and looked at all the materials.
It's totally
but-
fun. It's fairly light. Maybe we'll do it on the on the show. We could do Face Rip. I have the original Marvel. I have the Marvel.
Yeah, Saga was the cards.
Yeah, Saga.
How does Face Rip handle Spider-Man? How does he play in Face Rip?
You won't like it as
Yeah.
much. There's a dodge move, and if you do the dodge move, it shifts an opponent's attack down.
Mm-hmm.
It's not as cool as Saga.
Yeah.
For Spider-Man.
That's the one thing that Saga Edition did so well was you could play Spider-Man and he felt
He
like
did. He felt
Spider-Man.
like Spider-Man.
All the other games, it was like,
Yeah.
Spider-Man, he's amazing. That's
Yeah.
what Jared said. He's
Yeah.
amazing.
Jerry ran
might
with
say
a Omega
spectacular.
Flight as the
oh
villains.
yeah, there you go.
That's a deep cut. My favorite when I was a kid. So when Face Rip came out, the first couple modules for Face Rip are actually kind of awful. Like
So
the
do you-
breeder bombs.
Do you have the Phase Rip in the Saga game still?
Oh yeah.
So we're gonna play High Plane Samurai. Then we're
Yeah.
gonna play Gangbusters.
Yeah.
Then we're gonna play Fate of the Galaxy. I think is the next game, assuming
Okay.
it's mostly done. Which that'll be a ways away.
So you want to run one of the? You want me to run one of those?
Do you want to run one of those after that?
Yeah. Yeah.
So we'll play our 4th game. Will be one of the Marvel.
Yeah, maybe we'll do
Old school games?
Maybe we'll do Face Rip because
Saga
I don't know.
requires-
Actually, Saga's actually cooler.
So we'll play Saga then. We'll figure out a way to rig up a camera so that people can see the cards.
I mean, we can
And
also
we'll
just
also
say
say
what
what we're
we'll just say
playing.
what we're playing.
That too.
That'll work.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, I still have. I have all the books. I have the cards in a box, like tucked away, like
Nice.
in a nice hard plastic box. No, so Face Rip had a bunch of shitty modules. Like the first one was, so the modules, even if they sucked, they were still good because they had stat blocks.
Yeah.
So like the first module was the X-Men, and that was how you got the X-Men. But the be-all, end-all module was Secret Wars. That had a separate book of stat blocks, and it was just the coolest shit when I was a kid. And I remember being in 6th grade in D&D club, and we had like the big Secret Wars map on the table, and we were having I think it was like a 5-on-5 hero villain brawl. It was so good. It was awesome.
So we got 2 minutes left. What do you want to talk about?
Well, we covered all the Marvel stuff.
Yeah, we did.
Infinity War is coming.
Infinity War is coming way sooner than I'm prepared for.
Couple weeks.
It's like 2.5 weeks away.
I know, man. That's like
Cray
that's
cray.
fucking crazy. I started watching Jessica Jones finally, and I finished Voltron, the current season of Voltron, which was the current season of Voltron good.
I haven't seen it yet.
You can knock that off in a day.
Yeah.
Stop playing Strike Force for a few minutes. Let me get ahead again.
You're ahead of me. You're like level 31. I'm level 30.
I know.
Granted, I got
Yeah,
to
but-
level 30 in 2 days.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, I'm just waiting for tonight.
I mean, I only got to wait an hour and 17 minutes, and then I can,
to the
do
new
my
dailies flip over.
Yeah.
I still need to see Pacific Rim 2.
I do
I
too.
haven't seen it yet.
I do too. I need to see Pacific Rim 2.
I saw Ready Player
I
One.
do want to go see Ready Player One. I was
Yeah.
actually thinking of, I don't know. I was thinking of just going and seeing it or something. Oh, I know. We've got Saturday, man. We're going to Pennsylvania for the Encoded
Yes, we
business
are.
meeting.
That is true.
So we're doing that. That's like we're going to day trip down to Pennsylvania. We're going to meet up with Arcadian and we're going to sit and talk business all day.
Yep.
So that's a thing.
Mm-hmm.
What else is going on? I don't know.
That's about it.
That's about it.
Well,
We
it's
can
probably time to go.
we
Yeah.
get out of here.
You folks, I hope you enjoyed the show. I love it when mom and dad fight.
No,
totally-
nobody loves it when mom and dad
We
fight.
weren't fighting. That's what creating looks like.
Yes.
When you get all sad and mopey, and then I have to like pull it up on
It
the
was just
fade
in a
end.
weird beat. Like we got to figure out how to disagree and like keep it moving. We disagree and then we both stop talking. That's the part that doesn't work.
Oh, I kept talking.
So anyway,
All right.
we
Well,
should bolt out of here.
take it easy.
Good night, everyone.
Bye, everybody. Have a good night. Bob, you have to turn everything off.
Yep. Stop the stream.
It's that one. You missed it. I think you got it. Maybe you got it. It's stopping. Possibly. Probably.